This is the I, Dan Simpson Show with I, Dan Simpson. And of course, me, I, Dan Simpson, from the I, Dan Simpson Show with I, Dan Simpson. Today on the show, we're going to do the same thing we do every day. That's right. Try to take over the world. Are you pondering what I'm pondering? Which is the Mises Institute. The libertarian think tank anarcho-capitalist cucks over at the Mises Institute. We're going to talk about them today. I got into it last night on Instagram in the DMs with that guy Praxben. That guy's such a turd. Just a legitimate turd. Oh my god. And then I got some like other weirdo like also trying to debate me. He's like, I saw you were trying to debate Praxben, and I want to know if you want to debate me too. And I'm like, I don't want to debate him, and I don't want to debate you either, ding dong. What is wrong with these people? These people need to get a life. Check this out. I saw you wanted to debate Praxben. I'll debate you. No, idiot. You must have the same brainworms as Ben. I don't want to debate Ben, nor do I want to debate you. Go touch grass, loser. These debate sickos. Like literal debate perverts. I'll debate you. What? I know you don't want to debate Ben. He'd embarrass you. This is his voice, I guess. I was giving you an easier target. But I'd also embarrass you, he says. So good decision running from that. What? Like, what is wrong with these people? And then go touch grass. Bro, I can see what you look like. So calm that down. What does that even mean? Maybe that makes you feel special in your jerk-off rooms? What does that mean? But in the real world, you're still you. I don't even know what that means. I'm like, debate pervert. Get a life, ding-dong. They're in the army, too. You're a socialist, right? And you want to achieve it by voting for someone like Bernie Sanders, or you prefer Biden? Shut up. Like this, get a life. This is not the best version of yourself. What is wrong with people? Like, dude, you're an adult? And this is what you're choosing to do? You're a little fascist. You're too dumb to know what fascism is. I'm like, homie, you're capable of a lot more than this. Being a bitch on Instagram. Get a life. You're not even good at this. Go back to calling random guys names. Okay, ding dong. Calling people names like a child. Okay, get a life. You're very bad at this. Then you cry when they call you dumb. Get a fucking life. Like, what is wrong with these people? I don't give them anything, yet I take from them everything. I'm not giving them anything. Do you want to debate me? No. All right, well, let's debate anyways. No. You can't take no for an answer? And yeah, he's like in the army. I'm in the U.S. Army. I'm the literal boot. Fascist boot. But you're the fascist, actually, because you believe in socialism. This all started because I was going back and forth with Praxben last night. He's such a fucking dummy. And he starts calling me the R-slur. He starts calling me the R-slur. All I said, I just replied to this. I had some videos perform very well, but then some commies reported a ton of my stuff again before I could get them blocked. Please interact and boost so we can get back to normal view. Oh my god, dude. There's something wrong with these people. So I just reply, dude, get a life, ding dong. I go, you're literally a loser, get a life, ding dong. As opposed to being a figurative loser, LMAO, and then they say the R slur. What a piece of shit, dude. There are several prominent members of the Mises Institute who support... I don't care. Anti-communism and ableism goes very hand in hand. Yes. We are going to talk about the Mises Institute today, which Praxben, who literally has the most punchable face I've ever seen in my life. And he's not doing himself any fucking favors with that fucking haircut and this little move that he's doing. And his fucking turtleneck, you guys. Does the Mises Institute pay for his turtleneck budget? Does the Mises Institute also pay for his blue checkmark? How much do you spend on the blue checkmark every month, Praxben? How much do you spend on blue checkmarks? Yo, you guys, his vibes are just completely fucked. This guy is so far fucking gone. Look at him tripping out, dude. In this video with Rathbone. Look at this. So they've been having a fucking Rathbone and this guy have been having this big back and forth. And the guy won't like back up his shit with any primary sources. And you know, Rathbone's just pretty insistent on the guy backing his shit up. And he refuses to do it, but he still does this thing where he like browbeats the shit out of you. That's the thing with these fucking liberals. And yes, libertarians are liberals. They're fucking idiots, you guys. They're shameless losers. Check this video out.
Apparently decided to block me.
And then he blocked Rathbone after all this.
Videos about me. Someone sent me his most recent video, so let's...
He blocked him and he keeps making content about him.
Check in to see how he's doing.
Primary source. Give me a primary source.
Dude, that guy is fucking losing it. What is his deal, dude? Like, what is wrong with people sometimes? This is truly an embarrassment. Like an embarrassing moment for this guy. But these people are shameless. They have no shame. You can't shame them. All they do is post L's, but they never take the L.
Where's your primary source? Give me your primary source. I'm actually not denying anything. I'm just saying you need a primary source.
Right, so he's...
Oh my god, he's losing his mind, dude. The guy says he doesn't believe in socialism, yet he's getting publicly owned on the daily. Like, what a loser, dude. And I was trying to figure that out, too. Euphoric Acoustic says, I just looked up what I was wondering if it did it mean praxis or something? And it's apparently making fun of libertarians. You looked up what prax means? I'm not sure I'm following. So is he trying to take back the word? I'm not sure. He is a lulbertarian, you know what I mean? The guy is a fucking joke. Alright, this is from Urban Dictionary. It says prax, to make libertarian arguments from logical first principles and without reference to actual experience. It's funny. Especially when arguing that outside experience cannot disprove your argument, even in principle. Yo, what is this metaphysics going on here? What is going on? Often used by anti-libertarians in a derisive manner. But he's trying to, like, own it or something. It's derived from praxeology as invented by libertarian philosopher Ludwig von Mises. Ludwig von Mises! And we'll talk about him today, too. We're going to go a little bit down the rabbit hole of lulbertarianism. How about that? And we're literally going to talk about this from a philosophical standpoint. I'm a dialectical materialist, so looking a little bit into the Austrian school of economics, it seems to me that it's built. It seems to me that it's metaphysical. Metaphysical, and also idealist. It's metaphysical idealism, or some weird form of vulgar materialism. I'm not quite sure. I don't think they're materialists. They are idealists. And as you may know, like idealism and idealist philosophers have been utilized by the bourgeoisie, by the owning and ruling classes. So they're just doing more bourgeois economics. And they're not even good at it. Marx like figure the shit out, and they're just trying to like disprove Marx, and they didn't do it. All right, what does Ben say? I'm sorry, what does Rathbone say?
Still coping.
I mean a prominent Mises libertarian who isn't a neo-Confederate, and I'll donate money to some cause. One of the only good idealists was Hegel, largely because without Hegelianism, you don't get Marxism. Yeah. They steal the rational kernel of Hegelian dialectics and discard its mystical idealist shell. And that's how you get dialectical materialism. Maybe you got a stew going.
Continuing to personally attack me in his comments, calling me a fundamentally evil person who...
Oh my god, dude. Ben is absolutely projecting. He's doing the work of bourgeois economics, which is leading to the death of millions of people. Capitalism kills 20 million a year.
Openly advocates for millions of deaths.
Or at the very least, it doesn't prevent 20 million easily preventable deaths.
Anyone who disagrees with him is automatically a genocide denier.
Incredible projection. Incredible amount of projection from the libertarian, a.k.a. anarcho-capitalism here. That's what we're going to talk about today.
When someone correctly points out that he still didn't show evidence, he responds by saying, "Do you need everything spoon-fed to you?"
Dude, he's such a bitch, dude.
Apparently, the only people that disagree with him are pro-genocide people.
He makes
Oh my god, dude.
all these videos whining about me, grifting so he can get views.
But wait, I thought you said...
He, of course, ignored that one.
I mean, like, honestly, like, if we can't admit that capitalism is doing a classicide, like, if we can't actually talk about, yeah, literal, exactly, Zero, the literal material conditions that we're actually having to deal with, this guy's got nothing to add to any conversation that he's ever been a part of. In fact, this guy poisons every conversation he's a part of.
And in all other videos,
We need to be able to start with the material reality. If this guy doesn't even understand class society, you know, if this guy doesn't understand class, if he's an idealist, if he's a metaphysicist, he's serving bourgeois economics, and he's doing this like, and he just does it with all the smarmiest, smuggest attitude in the world. A true mediocre Mayo face. Truly mediocre white people. And they think they're like hot shit, dude. That's the thing that gets to me. These people, dude.
made about him.
Yes, that's right.
Stale pale male. Oh my god, absolutely.
Right, you've been making videos about me for well over a month now. And now that I've finally decided to respond to you, suddenly I'm whining and I'm grifting you.
Yeah, he's like literally one of those people that like stop maturing at about 13-year-old. At about 13. My theory is 13. And literally you can tell because look at the language that he uses when he talks to people. Look at what he says. He literally uses the R slur. He literally calls people the R slur like a fucking 13-year-old. He stopped maturing at 13 years old. These are the kind of people we're dealing with here. And I'm not just talking about this because it's just some drama between Rathbone and this fucking guy. We're going to use this as an opportunity to learn, you guys. We're going to use this as an opportunity to learn. We're going to learn a little bit about the Austrian School of Economics. We're going to learn about Ludwig von Mises, yeah? Excuse me. And we're going to talk about libertarianism and anarcho-capitalism. These people are deeply unserious people, but they do this thing as if they went to school for it, where they like browbeat you. They wag their finger at you, despite them being very deeply mediocre people.
Mediocre. Mediocre.
So again, we're not just talking about this because it's drama. We're talking about this because there's a reason why their ideology reproduces. There's a reason these ideologies reproduce, and it's almost always what? Money. It's funded. But the thing is, he's like rabidly dumb. You know? He's confidently dumb. It's like one of the biggest problems in the fucking world is when people are confidently stupid. Like Praxben. It is so fucking annoying. It's got that Dunning-Kruger off the charts, you guys. Yeah. Praxben. What a fucking turd.
So I offered a communist $500.
I offered a communist $500. How do you, like, homie, has he ever heard his own voice? It's like one of these people. It's like Ben Shapiro. Has Ben Shapiro ever heard his own voice? Because I think they would, like, try to make it not sound so annoying.
$500 if he can prove that the Soviet Union did not kill
I'll give you $500 if you can grow a mustache.
millions of their own citizens.
Whoa. That's not what you said. Let's see what you actually said.
$500 bet that all the
$500 bet. You guys, I really like Ron Paul, okay? He's, I think, one of the best people in the Senate.
primary sources are completely consistent with my secondary sources.
But I never disputed that your primary sources would be consistent with your secondary sources. I don't even know what your primary sources
He won't provide primary sources.
are. That's why I literally asked, what are your primary sources?
Such a
You
dipshit.
immediately got defensive about it and turned it into a bet. That's so weird, bro. I feel like you need help in presenting a primary source document to your audience, so let me demonstrate for you. Here is a completely uncontroversial
Libertarians pretending to care about human life is my favorite genre.
primary source document which served as evidence that the Nazis committed a massive state crime. This is the minutes from the Wannsee Conference of January 20th, 1942, in which the Nazis formalized their final solution, which was their plan to exterminate all the Jews in Europe.
Wow.
Yes, it's in German, and yet there are English translations you can find publicly available online.
$500 bet that all the primary
$500 bet, you guys. Hey, you guys, I bet you $500 communism bad or something.
So him and I were going back and forth in the Instagram DMs last night. Yeah, again, him and I going back and forth in the DMs last night. At one point, you guys, at one point, he literally called me through the Instagram app as if I was going to pick up the phone and, like, talk to him and listen to his voice. And then he posted his L on Instagram. He goes, no answer. And it's a picture of his face, him calling me. What? What the fuck? Extremely weird behavior. Debate me, pervert. Yeah. Just sicko shit. Absolute sicko shit. He tried to call me and even posted his L. They post their L's, but they never take the L. He doesn't realize that, like, what he's doing is actually cringe. This is the thing with liberals. And again, libertarians, I think, are a form of liberals. That's what I'm getting at here. Which is that they think good things are bad and bad things are good. He thinks this is an own on me, but he's owning himself. It's the strangest behavior, you guys. I just simply don't know what to say about this guy. Such lack of awareness, because I don't know, in his circles, that kind of behavior is like, I don't know, considered good or something. It is so weird. He's having a real normal one. Don't ever pick up a video call from a Yo, they literally can't take no for an answer. Do not. If I were you, I would not leave your drink. Leave your drink at a party around this guy. Don't do it. Don't leave your drink at a party. What's their handle on Insta? Okay, it's Praxben, but I don't want y'all to like dogpile or whatever. He's having such a normal day. Very weird behavior. Yeah, typical libertarian not understanding consent. He, like, called once, and I'm like, I'm not going to answer that, you fucking loser, you know? And then he called again. He's like, answer. What the fuck, dude? Weird behavior. Absolutely weird behavior. I'm like, yeah, do it again, idiot. What is your deal? Check it out. He's like trying to start a video chat. And then they tried it again. And I'm like, yeah, do it again. This is hilarious. You're not embarrassing yourself at all. He goes, answer the phone, please. Answer the phone. I have a question. I'm like, I'm sure you got a lot of questions. Keep doing it. You're doing great. You're not embarrassing yourself, I promise. Keep trying. Like, what is wrong with this guy?
Please answer. Please.
Yo, I just simply don't understand this energy. Dude, the Instagram reply guys are the weirdest people. It is really weird. Just remember, this is what he thinks is cool. He thinks this is cool. He thinks that turtleneck is cool. Like, what the fuck, you guys? So he's a Mises Institute partner. Mises Institute. And that's what we're going to talk about today. Mises Institute. Dan, what's the Mises Institute? Good question. We'll get to it. The Mises Institute, generally speaking, is Mises? Mises? Because it's Austrian, right? Mises? All right. The Mises Institute. He probably thought he was cool LARPing as James Bond. Dude, he's LARPing as a smart person is really what he's doing. Just fucking big dummy energy. That's coming from me. I'm not very smart either, but he's a big fucking dummy. Okay, so the Mises Institute is a libertarian think tank. He's a think tanky, you guys. So it's a libertarian think tank. And it was founded in 82 by this guy, Lou Rockwell. Here's their website. It's a hell zone. Mises. It sounds like miser. And they've spread a lot through Facebook. Right. So it's not just about... okay, so the drama or whatever with Ben, yeah, Praxben definitely is leading us here. But, you know, lemons, lemonade, we're going to go ahead and turn this into an educational opportunity, right? We're going to try to learn. We're going to try to learn. So we're going to go ahead and learn about the Mises Institute. The Mises. Really? Mises? Ugh. It, like, hurts my brain when I say it that way. I'm like, are you sure? Is that how they say it? All right. Jesus Christ. So here's an example from the Mises Wire. And it says, trans rights means trans entitlements and the end of civil society. What the fuck is this fascist shit? Folks, I will never forgive my teachers, my high school teachers, for, yes, doing a good job and telling us that the Nazis were bad, telling us that they burned libraries. But what they didn't tell us was which libraries they burnt. The first library the Nazis burnt was a library on gender research, transgender research included. I would defer to, you know, experts on this, but I think I've heard something said to the effect that that brought back, you know, research decades on transgender research. That really hurt our transgender comrades, you know, arguably who are feeling the generational effects of such an action. So, when you hold something in common with fucking Nazis, maybe you should stop and investigate whether, I don't know, your ideology is completely full of shit. Okay, this says, I'm probably not going to read the whole thing. But they're talking about Dylan Mulvaney, civil society, a community of individuals who are linked together by common interests and activities. individuals. God, I hate the way the capitalists talk about the way the world should work. It's disgusting.
Civil society is only possible because most people want to live securely, protect their loved ones, and prosper. This laissez-faire attitude...
Seriously. Seriously. Laissez-faire. It literally says it.
Used to be a defining characteristic of Americans, but an engineered and well-financed cultural war is destroying America's renowned tolerance.
The deal with literally these people is that they literally think, as Ludwig von Mises literally says, he says only a liberal capitalist society could safeguard civilization from socialism and authoritarian imperialistic tendencies. I'll say it again. The guy, Ludwig von Mises, he said this. Only a liberal capitalist society could safeguard civilization from socialism and authoritarian imperialistic tendencies. Are you fucking kidding me? These are the dumbest motherfuckers. If you believe that, you are a dumb motherfucker. I don't make the rules. It's just how it is. Can you believe this? Capitalism could safeguard from imperialism. You don't understand how things work, idiot. Imperialism is capitalism, you fucking idiots. These are not serious people, you guys. And this is what their like ideology rests on. These fucking idiots, dude. I know. I know. Like, they're just brain damaged. They have brain worms, excuse me. Exactly. So they're literally talking about laissez-faire being a good thing. Yeah, let the kids work again. The kids yearn for the mines. Look at this. And then they're saying laissez-faire was replaced with a well-financed cultural war destroying America's renowned tolerance? What does that even mean? If the common interests of society break down and peace and freedom are replaced by violence and privilege, what? Look at this wild, slippery slope argument. Then common activities like free market commerce and education cannot function. What the fuck? Yo, this is an entirely metaphysical way of looking at the world. It doesn't like explain the relationships between anything. It's just making it up, and they're just saying words. It's like word salad. Yo, these people are deeply mediocre people. And they're gonna try to use this to talk shit about trans rights. The media characterizes the backlash against trans rights, I guess, as anti-trans hatred by conservatives, Christians, and other troglodytes. Totally vibes-based history. Low-tier aristocrat pushing bullshit. Yeah, we'll talk about the role that this media, think tank, we'll talk about the role that the think tank plays, and who they serve. I can tell you what, these Mises Institute anarcho-capitalist libertarian cucks don't give a fuck about the working class. Just a little spoiler alert. All right. They say here, but few people care about the sexual or gender orientation of their neighbors. What are you getting at, dude? Critics of the trans movement are rebelling against the forced redefinition of biology, the destruction of women's sports. Yeah, these people all of a fucking sudden care about women's sports. The hijacking of children's education. The medical experiment. Jesus Christ. And the intrusion of penises in women-only spaces like bathrooms. Yo. These people are deeply evil, all right? I'm just going to dip on the rest of this, but you get the idea. Mises Institute. Mises, whatever. You get the idea. So that's what we're dealing with here in the Mises Institute. Beginners. There are a lot of people who want you to think economics is too complicated because it teaches you how we're being ripped off. We've created these short animated series to empower you to see through the noise and better understand what's really going on around us. You ready for this? Exactly. They literally have been like shitting on women's sports. And they've never given a shit about women's sports. They're going to make fun of it. It's going to be the butt of a joke to these people forever. And now they're going to be like, oh, we care about women's sports. I simply don't believe it. I think they're full of shit, and they are. Check this out. America from republic to empire. It's like, have you even seen Star Wars? Were the Empire, were they the good guys? Oh my god, dude. Are you ready for this? What is an empire? The Mises Institute. I don't think you're ready for this.
What is an empire? In January 1776, Thomas Paine published...
I bet, dude. I bet. Women's sports only invented because women were doing too well against men. Yeah, you got to preserve little boys' feelings, right? Incredible.
Sense, which urged colonists to declare independence from the British Empire. In the introduction, Paine wrote, "The cause of America is in a great measure the cause of all mankind. The laying a country desolate with fire and sword, and declaring war against the natural rights
It's just wish.com PragerU shit, yeah.
of all mankind is the concern of every man to whom nature hath given the power of feeling." Paine's prediction proved correct. The American Revolution would continue to inspire anti-imperialist movements well into the 20th century.
The American Revolution would inspire anti-imperialist revolutions? In what world?
To understand America's revolt against empire, we must first ask what an empire is.
You guys,
Above all else,
this is how the brainworms get in, okay? I just want to let you know. Be careful here.
Empires are expansionist, continually aiming to extend their boundaries. It took only 2 years...
What's up, Brad Left Dad? Love your face. Yeah, we're beefing. We're beefing with Praxben. The guy dropped an R slur on me last night, and he's like trying to be taken seriously in his little fucking black turtleneck. And his like smarmy ass, smug, high-pitched voice. He's a libertarian cuck, dude. He's a literal think tanky.
After the first English settlement in North America, for the king to claim dominion over the entire continent. Empires are territorial. When competing empires claim sovereignty over the same area, they wage war to settle boundary disputes. Thousands of colonists died defending Britain's territorial claims in America, which Paine saw as an indictment of empire. Let Britain waive her pretensions to the continent, he argued. We should be at peace with France and Spain. Empires are also centralized. The British Empire stretched across the globe, but the laws governing these distant territories were decided by political elites in London. These policies included a centralized economic system known as mercantilism, which required all foreign trade to flow through England so the crown could collect customs revenues. In common sense, Paine recognized how centralized authority replaced commerce with conflict. Europe is our market for trade, he wrote, but submission to Great Britain tends directly to involve America in wars with nations who would otherwise seek our friendship. Finally, empires, like all governments...
I love how they're talking about empire, but the British Empire. When are you going to talk about the U.S. Empire here?
...are coercive. By the 1770s, Americans could not escape the violent reality behind Britain's efforts to compel their submission.
It's like they're so close to getting it, yet so far at the same time.
Paine concluded his call for independence by proclaiming that all subjection to Britain ought to have ceased after colonists witnessed the violence done to our persons and the destruction of our property by an armed force. After waking up to the dangers of an expansionist, territorial, centralized, and coercive government, Americans became convinced that the...
Does that not explain what America is now? What the United States is now?
Greatest threat to liberty was the instruments of imperial control, a permanent, professionalized military. To understand how the United States started down its own path toward empire, we must look first to how certain political leaders overcame America's fear of standing armies.
Oh my god, he tried calling me several times. And then he posted his L. As if he's not the loser here. Like, what a big dummy, dude. His cringe energy is off the charts. And then there was some other guy, Dad. There was this other guy, too. Who, like, replied to me. It's just the wildest thing, man. These people don't have any self-awareness. This guy, Marcus Davenport, goes, I saw you wanted to debate Praxben. I'll debate you. I did. What? Get a fucking life, dude. What is wrong with these people? Like, I think there's like a specific brainworm that's out there. It's like, these people are infected, dude. It's like a disease. What is wrong with the... Like, these people don't know what cringe is? And so, like, that's all they do, I guess. I don't know, dude. It boggles my mind, these people. It boggle my mind, dude.
You want to debate me?
No. What made you think that? Read the room, dude. And you say no, and then they still try to debate you anyways. Right? And I'm like, you can't take no for an answer? Do not leave your drink around a libertarian at a party. Don't leave your drink. I'm telling you guys. You'll thank me later. Yeah, then they claim they won the debate. Yeah, homie. Sure. That's that. That's the thing about that. Alright, so now I'm curious. I want to see these other things. Manifest Destiny. Here we go. I'm going to skip the Standing Armies one. Hold on to your butt holes.
Manifest Destiny. In 1845, John O.
He didn't answer my phone calls at like midnight. Not that if he did it any other time I would have answered. Yeah.
Sullivan asserted the right of America's manifest destiny to possess the whole continent for the great experiment of liberty. Manifest
Liberty for who? For fucking who, you guys?
destiny is the phrase most associated with America's
There's absolutely zero class consciousness in these videos. I haven't heard the word proletariat or bourgeois. I haven't heard anything about the revolution being a bourgeois revolution. Oh my god.
conquest of the West.
They probably just hired someone on fucking Fiverr.
In historical context, it referred to the belief that Americans were destined by
to believe
God
in it, you know?
to govern the entire continent, including Canada, Mexico, and beyond. At the country's founding, Alexander Hamilton wanted to acquire Louisiana to secure to the United States the key to the Western country, and regretted that the preparation of an adequate
You see any problem with that? You guys see any problem with this?
military force does not advance more rapidly. Even Thomas Jefferson wanted to send troops to the frontier to add to the Empire of Liberty an extensive and fertile country. As president, Jefferson purchased the Louisiana Territory, despite his conviction.
Purchased. You know, like when you go down to the store and you buy yourself a Louisiana. Purchased. Empire of Liberty, dude. Oh my god. It's just so shameless. It's beyond the pale. It's beyond the pale, white male. No mention of this guy owning slaves. No mention of the indigenous people. Oh my fucking god, you guys. It's off the charts. This is how the brainworms get in. This is how you get people like Praxben who think like this.
That he was violating the
Real
Constitution.
dummy shit.
By adding nearly
Just like, honestly, evil. You know what I mean? The way that they present this is just downright evil.
1 million square
They
miles
bought
to
it
the
from
nation's
God.
western boundary.
I'm
The
on a mission from God.
Louisiana Purchase revealed the first characteristic of empire: expansionism. The U.S. similarly purchased Oregon in 1846 and Alaska in 1867, reflecting the imperial characteristic of centralization. In Alaska's century as a territory, its governance was decided by politicians 3,700 miles away. That's 500 miles further than London is from Boston. Western expansion was also territorial and coercive. America's annexation of Texas instigated the Mexican War, a boundary dispute that cost upwards of 38,000 lives, but resulted in the acquisition of territory far beyond the Texas borders. The war also helped consolidate a national standing army, which provided the impetus for aggressive diplomacy toward Indians. Early Western settlers frequently traded peacefully with Indians, but as the U.S. Army took over Indian relations, frontier warfare intensified. Manifest destiny is not confined to American expansion. The core concept is the belief that a nation is morally obligated.
Rent, it's too damn high.
All right, I'll pause for those who aren't subscribed. No one say anything important, okay? We got 30 seconds. I know! Aggressive diplomacy. They just whitewash genocide, dude. That's how you whitewash genocide. And they call them Indians. Who fucking wrote this, dude? Yo. Gotta be kidding me.
To forcefully spread its superior culture. And this has been
What? Say that part again.
That a nation is more...
Hey, Benjamin, thanks for gifting one, homie.
Morally obligated to forcefully spread its superior culture, traded peacefully with Indians. But as the U.S. Army took over Indian relations, frontier warfare intensified. Manifest destiny is not confined to American expansion. The core concept is the belief that a nation is morally obligated to forcefully spread its superior culture, and this has been repackaged to justify imperial warfare throughout history. In theocratic societies, these conflicts took the form of holy wars, such as crusades and jihads. In the US, manifest destiny has traditionally expressed political ideals, such as Jefferson's dream of an empire of liberty and Woodrow Wilson's promise to keep the world safe for democracy. In 1899, British writer Rudyard Kipling characterized manifest destiny as the white man's burden. This was his title.
I can't tell if they're into manifest destiny or not.
For a poem intended to encourage Americans to join European empires in spreading Western civilization across the ocean. Kipling published the poem in the aftermath of a conflict that marked the beginning of America's overseas empire, the Spanish-American War.
It's like watching a train wreck. I fucking cannot stop, you guys.
The alliance of throne and altar. War is a racket, Smedley Butler wrote in 1935. It is possibly the oldest, easily the most profitable, surely the most vicious. It is the only one in which the profits are reckoned in dollars and the losses in lives. Smedley Butler spent 33 years in the Marines, attaining the rank of Major General.
All right, so what is one thing that like someone like Ron Paul gets right? Sometimes he is like anti-imperialist. He resists neoconservatism. He resists the neoconservative urge to, be intervening, out there. So that's sort of like a hallmark of some libertarians. But it doesn't mean that they're, consistently good on a lot of things. As we'll talk about today, they're the Mises Institute and the anarcho-capitalist losers and cucks that subscribe to the Austrian school of thinking, they've got real flaws in the way that they see the world. So, yeah, no, they're not comrades. You can't organize with these people except to agree that, yeah, imperialism's bad. And you just sort of hope that they keep going down the rabbit hole and discover like the root of imperialism, what it is. But as we're seeing, and I'll pull up my notes again. Von Mises challenges this guy Hilferding, and he says only a liberal capitalist society could safeguard against imperialist could safeguard from imperialist tendencies. So they don't have a materialist way of looking at the world. They don't understand the material reality of the objective social relations that we have to deal with here, and that imperialism is, the highest form of capitalism. What do they say? I'm sorry, I'm a little all over the place right now. The highest form of capitalism, but sure, let's be pro-capitalism, anti-imperialism. Yeah, right? So they've got this idealist and also metaphysical way of looking at the world. These people are like the direct opposite of dialectical materialists. And that's why they get almost nothing right, except for they sort of see that imperialism is bad. But you can't even consistently organize with these people against imperialism because they don't get where it comes from.
Time of his death, he was the most decorated Marine in history. Yet Butler became one of America's most vocal.
I'm glad they're talking about Smedley Butler. This is what we do in leftist circles, and
imperialists. He spent much of his career in Latin America, where his experiences left him convinced that war served the interests of corporations, while soldiers and taxpayers...
So if these people oppose imperialism, first of all, they got to really learn what it is, and where it comes from and how it works. If they don't know how it works, they're not going to be able to consistently oppose against it, because imperialism isn't just done with guns anymore. They coup with tanks, and they coup with banks. And if the libertarians don't understand that, they're not really going to be able to oppose imperialism, despite them saying out loud that they are. They're just deeply unserious people.
Shouldered the costs. To understand U.S. intervention in Latin America...
And they're almost always these very mediocre, pale white males, these male faces. And that's why they love Thomas Sowell, because they're like, oh, this guy's black.
First have to look at how America's foreign policy shifted after the Spanish-American War. Faced with the decision of what to do with Cuba, the U.S. granted Cuba limited autonomy on the condition America would be able to intervene for the preservation of Cuban independence. In 1904, President Teddy Roosevelt extended this policy to all Latin American countries. In other words, under the guise of protecting Latin America's independence, the U.S. government claimed the right to military intervention in the region. Roosevelt announced his policy in 1904, retroactively justifying military actions already underway. A year earlier, the military had ordered Smedley Butler to Honduras to quell civil unrest. This began his participation in the Latin American conflicts known as the Banana Wars.
God, I hate these
In
illustrations.
1899, American businessman Minor Keith established the United Fruit Company, which survives today as Chiquita. Keith wanted to expand his banana export.
Fascists co-opting leftist language? Sometimes they do. I think they're definitely not pretending to be leftist. They're pretending to be smart, good people, but they're dumb pieces of shit.
Business, as bananas had proven immensely popular in the U.S. after their
That's just how you become a libertarian.
Introduction in 1870.
That's what no theory does to a motherfucker. You know what I mean?
In exchange for land, United Fruit partnered with Central American governments to build infrastructure, but the company quickly faced
Good for them for talking about this stuff.
competition from other American exporters, such as Cuyam.
There are a lot of liberals who won't even talk about this stuff. I'm talking about your small L liberals, your Democrat voter types.
And Standard Fruit. The companies backed rival politicians, exacerbating domestic unrest in the countries they operated in, which became known as banana republics. This is the context behind Butler's statement that he helped make Honduras right for the American fruit companies in 1903. Witnessing the military protect corporate interests, Butler blamed capitalism, but he was actually railing against corporatism. Under capitalism, both profits and losses are privatized, but corporatism socializes losses. Butler acknowledged that taxpayers and soldiers bore the costs of the wars that corporations profited from. This public-private partnership is similar to the medieval alliance of throne and altar, in which the Pope anointed monarchs, legitimizing their rule, and monarchs protected the Catholic Church's religious monopoly. Today, many politicians similarly support corporate privileges in exchange for political support, which can include military intervention that benefits multinational companies. But wars also depend on popular support, and in World War I, President Woodrow Wilson would create the first federal agency to create and distribute wartime propaganda.
They're doing that? Is that what they're doing, the not true capitalism thing? Hey, if I got $5 and you've got a sandwich, and I give you $5 and you give me the sandwich, that's capitalism. That's it. What are you confused about, kid? Proxy wars? I wonder what Praxben thinks about Ukraine.
Proxy wars. In February 1946, George Kennan sent a telegram to the State Department that painted a foreboding picture of the Soviet Union. "We have here a political force," Kennan wrote, "committed fanatically to the belief that it is necessary that the internal harmony of American society be disrupted, our traditional way of life be destroyed, and the
it's like this, I can't stop watching.
International authority of our state be broken." A subsequent State Department report urged the federal government,
you gotta know your enemy,
to resist vigorously Soviet efforts to expand into areas vital to American security.
This is how they talk about
things.
The
report called on America to assist all democratic countries endangered by the USSR. President Harry Truman implemented these recommendations in his containment policy, based on what became known as the domino theory. The theory posited
these guys. So I'll go back to Praxben and I'll use them again. It's just as an example here. You know, I liked it better when I didn't know who he was. Yeah. Anyways, he's a rabid anti-communist. That's what you sort of need to know about these guys.
Anti-communist. Contra-tanky.
What is this even? I wanted to click this. He's arguing about Soviet caloric intake. These people are so desperate, dude. They're just so desperate. Oh my god, dude.
Well, this is pretty dumb. It's misleading because it acts like some huge accomplishment.
What's he talking about, dude? What does he read? I don't recognize any of this. The biggest drop in pollution in human history came from the fall of the Soviet Union. Yet leftists insist on lying about capitalism's effects on the environment. You kidding me here? That just goes to show how their fucking economy was decimated after 1991, you big dummy. It actually starts in 1980. This is so weird. What is it? This is why you can't, just argue with these people. You just waste your whole fucking day. And he can't back up anything he says with, primary sources. But he wants to, I don't know, be taken seriously. This is the economic fall and recovery after the Bolshevik Revolution. And he's measuring it in GDP. I actually don't even understand. I don't even... What are these numbers? Just 1 year after the Bolshevik Revolution? What is he doing, dude? He literally called me multiple times trying to debate me. Oh my god. So he's reading Mises. Getting libertarianism right. Okay. So he's literally hawking Austrian school economics here. So yeah, to welcome in Mises. Mises. I call it Mises, I don't care. Alright, so again, he's pushing this Austrian school metaphysics. I don't know what to call it. It's like vulgar vulgar idealism. It's not materialist. They don't understand the material basis of imperialism. So, like, what do these people really believe in? Something catalytic converters? Does that have something to do with it? You think he has a laminated car with the stage ages of consent? Yeah. These are the people that got that shit memorized. Sushi mom, love your face. Rules for thee and not for me. You have a Mises friend who says actually Soros is a good capitalist. So they're not anti-capitalist. So with these people, like, yo, I don't know. I don't have a full thought. Let's just move on. Here's the thing. Here's the thing. He's a big dummy. Is he against worker co-ops?
The co-ops had 14% lower wages than capitalist enterprises on average. More volatile wages and less volatile employment.
Secular,
I
thanks for
love Venn
gifting one.
diagrams.
So he's like anti-worker co-ops. Is that the deal? Jesus Christ, dude. The vibes are so off, you know? Okay. But the point is, it's not just Ben. It's these people. It's these Mises people. What is this?
Mises explains why Marxism dominates and destroys.
What? Oh my god, here we go. Oh god. Check this out. This is what they say about Marxism. Marxism first poisons the mind of the people, then seizes politics, and finally appears as a destructive power of domination. It's important to understand the spiritual foundations of socialism, and there is no better basis for doing so than, quote, The Socialist Commonwealth by Ludwig von Mises. It says Karl Marx created Marxism as an edifice of anti-logic, anti-science, and anti-thought. These people are dummies. I sort of can't see what this says. To portray the historical inescapability of socialism as scientifically proven fit very well with the zeitgeist of the mid-19th century. What? Engels praised the achievement of the communist ideologue. Quote, like Darwin discovered the law of the development of organic nature, so Marx discovered the law of the development of human history. It's true. You should learn about dialectical materialism. Once you do, you'll be a communist. Or don't. Or just be scared of what dialectical materialism is and never learn what it is. You know, Like, that's the thing about these libertarians. We know that they don't know what dialectical materialism is. Otherwise, if they did, they'd be a communist. That's how this works. The objective social relations of humankind will have a quality shift to socialism. It's scientifically proven. It's going to happen. Now, what form will that take? I don't know. How long will that take? I don't know. But Marx does scientifically prove it. It is a fact of dialectical and historical materialism. And if you were an understander of dialectical materialism, you would understand this too. And if you were an understander of dialectical materialism, you'd be a communist. You wouldn't be a libertarian. So I know for a fact these people don't understand dialectical materialism, which is not anti-science. In fact, it is very much pro-science, as in it doesn't disregard science in a metaphysical way like these people, like their analysis does. These people are not serious people. I'm happy they got this quote right here. This is a banger. Yeah, Engels, this is a great quote. Darwin discovered the law of the development of organic nature. Marx discovered the law of the development of human history. The simple fact, hitherto hidden under the ideological overgrowth, that before all things human beings must eat, drink, dwell, and dress before they're able to practice science, art, religion, etc. Okay. And I think it goes on here. That is to say, the production of the immediate material means of subsistence, and thus the current level of economic development of a people in a period of time, forms the basis from which the state, institutions, the legal views, art, and even the religious ideas of the people have developed, and from which they have also have to be explained, not the other way around, as has been the case up to now. That's actually a decent quote. That's actually pretty decent. Eastern Rivers, love your face. Thank you so much for making me feel good. I appreciate you. Thank you for the nice words. That's very nice of you. Everyone, you should be nice just like Eastern Rivers. Make me feel good about myself. Whatever. I don't know. It's actually a decent quote. That's sort of explaining dialectical materialism here. But the funny thing is they just post it and they don't understand what it means. I know for a fact they don't understand dialectical materialism. Because otherwise they'd be a communist. So they just post a quote. They don't know what it means. That's funny to me. Ludwig von Mises determines that unparalleled success of Marxism, I guess it was popular at the time, is because it promises the fulfillment of deeply rooted age-old dreams and resentments of mankind. With the claim to scientific validity, Marx promises a paradise on earth. That's a straw man and a half. A land of milk and honey, full of happiness and enjoyment. Yes, you guys, the revolution's going to be a dinner party. It's going to be perfect, okay? Nothing's going to go wrong. There will be no sadness. I'm pretty sure that's in Marx Capital Volume 1. And what sounds even sweeter to the badly off, the humiliation of all who are stronger and better than the attractiveness of socialism comes from the creed that those who advocate socialist measures consider themselves the friend of the... I don't know if that quote left off or what happened there. Consider themselves friend of the good, the noble, and the moral as unselfish champions of necessary change. It says, the socialist typically identifies himself as a person who selflessly serves his people and all humanity, but above all is a true and intrepid researcher. What is going on here? It says, in contrast to this self-view of the socialist, Anyone who criticizes socialism with the standards of science is depicted as an advocate of the evil principle, as a rogue, as a filthy mercenary of the selfish special interests of a class damaging the common good, and as an ignoramus. Yeah, I mean, yeah, and I'll literally get to that, how they serve the bourgeoisie. Mises philosophy, Mises Austrian school of thought, is a bourgeois economic philosophy, you guys. It's anti-materialist. It doesn't understand the material base of things. The material base of the objective base of social relations, which is the means of production and the forces of production. It is capitalism. It is scientific in the sense that Marx demonstrated the resolution of the biggest contradiction of our times, and that he scientifically proved it. It's not what they're saying here, that it's going to be a paradise on earth. This is bullshit, straw man. These people are not serious. It's explicitly non-utopian. There were utopian socialists. They didn't understand the material conditions as well. They didn't understand the role that capitalism played. And they also didn't understand the role of the working class in the revolution. Marx learned from these people, and he developed dialectical materialism with no help from these fucking losers, Ludwig von Mises. All right, what is this? To this day, this tenor has changed little. I guess the tenor of the Mises people being literal advocate of evil. Yeah. To this day, this tenor has changed little. Welcome in, Lulata. How you doing, homie? Instead of refuting the adversaries of their ideas with rational argumentation, the socialists turn to personal attack. Shut the fuck up, you dumb bitch. In Marx's tradition, his followers have their opponents insulted, ridiculed, derided, slandered. Their polemic is directed never against the argument, but always against his person. Are you kidding me? We have fucking Marxism on our side. We have dialectical materialism on your side. You have metaphysical idealism on your side, you idiots. I've seen what makes you cheer. Your boos mean nothing to me. Few have been able to withstand such tactics. Few indeed have been courageous enough to oppose socialism with the remorseless criticism which it is the duty of the scientific thinker, the unscientific thinker. I don't know what this says. Something in the days of publication of Mises' Socialism, we too must admit that we live in the age of socialism. What? Likewise today, one asks with Mises. Yo, let's just be honest. Even Mises, they sound like bitches. We've got Marx. Marx. It's a strong-sounding name. Mises. One asks with Mises, where is an influential political party, quote, which may dare to stand frankly and freely for the special ownership of the means of production? What? Then, as now, the word capitalism is ostracized and used as the sum of evil. Socialism, it says, is the dominant idea of the time. Even the opponents of socialism are completely under the spell of its ideas. Though communism failed to bring prosperity and freedom, socialist thinking continues flourishing as an ideology in academia, education, and the media. Disguised as champions of social justice and equality, the modern socialists demand a planned economy to counter injustice and fight against climate change. Again and again, these movements are gaining enough votes to become part of the government and pursue their destructive plans. Where? What the fuck? These are the dumbest people. These are the dumbest people. And our guy here is a Mises Institute partner. What does that mean? Do they subsidize his turtleneck budget? He's got to pay for these turtlenecks. Yo, what is that look? What is that? Oh my god, dude. Had a nice time in Nashville. An amazing time. I attended Libertarian Scholars Conference. Got to meet Dr. Walter Block. Who the fuck is that? Had a few sodas with Jacob from the Daily Wire. What a bunch of nerds. What a bunch of fucking nerds, dude. Who's Dr. Walter Block? The vibes are off, you guys. I don't know, you guys. Ah! Ah! What's this deal? Yeah, that... It must smell wild in there. You guys put the black guy up front. Yeah, put the black guy up front so we don't look all... So it doesn't look like we're all white. What is that beard? Oh my god. Oh my god, dude. Okay, so who's Dr. Walter Block? Austrian school economist and anarcho-capitalist theorist. Jesus Christ. Capitalism's a machine learning powered by the blood of labor. Why would we prefer that to rule by scientists using machine learning? Oh. Oh, God. There it is. Every fucking time, dude. In an interview, Block stated in the 50s and 60s, I was just another commie living in Brooklyn. You simply were not a communist. And you were LARPing as a communist if you were not an understander of dialectical materialism. And I'm certain that every libertarian is not. I'm certain of this, you guys. Block credits his shift to libertarianism to having attended a lecture by Ayn Rand, Alice O'Connor. What do they say about Stalin? His biggest mistake was giving Ayn Rand an education. Yeah, there it is. Yeah, Soviet Union messed up. Yeah, that was the biggest mistake of the Soviet Union. Every time with this Ayn Rand bullshit. Attended a lecture by Ayn Rand. What? And am I saying her name right? I always wonder. It's like a weird name, right? A lecture by Ayn Rand while she was an undergraduate student. While he was an undergrad. Block later attended a luncheon with Rand, Nathaniel Brandon. Let's go, Brandon. And Leonard Peikoff. Am I saying that right? Objectivists. Fucking loser shit. At which Brandon suggested that Block read Atlas Shrugged. Oh, God. And Economics in One Lesson by Henry Hazlitt, who's like one of their Austrian school guys, huh? Oh, Jesus. I'm assuming is an Austrian school guy. Part of the series on Austrian school. There you go. Okay. All right. So that's Dr. Walter Block. You getting the idea here? Getting the idea? He says the final push to his conversion came from having met Austrian school and anarcho-capitalist theorist Murray Rothbard. Murray Rothbard. Central figure in the 20th century American libertarian movement, founder and leading theoretician of anarcho-capitalism. He wrote over 20 books. Ian. Or is it Ian or Ein? Ein. The child market, dude? That's not ringing a bell. He wrote 20 books. Rothbard argued that all services provided by the monopoly system of the corporate state could be provided more efficiently by the private sector. Oh, there it is. And that the state is, quote, the organization of robbery systematized and writ large. All right, they're opposed to reserve banking and central banking, I think. He categorically opposed all military, political, and economic interventionism in the affairs of other nations. But of course, he doesn't understand the material base of economic interventionism. They just want to say it's empire, it's what empire does. No, it's capitalism, you dumb fucks. Sorry you got timed out, AM. According to Rothbard, the purely free society... Here? Holy shit. In Rothbard's view of parenthood, the parent should not have a legal obligation to feed, clothe, or educate his children, since such obligations would entail positive acts coerced upon the parent and depriving the parent of his rights. What the fuck? Thus, Rothbard stated that parents should have the legal right to let any infant die by starvation and should be free to engage in other forms of child neglect. Murray Rothbard. However, according to Rothbard, sick fuck. What the fuck, dude? Where were we? I lost my spot. This is wild shit, dude. According to Rothbard, the purely free society will have a flourishing free market in children. What? In a fully libertarian society, he wrote, the existence of a free baby market will bring such neglect down to a minimum. Are you fucking kidding me over here? That is peak let the market figure it out argument I've ever heard in my life. Are you fucking kidding me here, dude? This is why you don't waste your time arguing with Mises Institute cucks. You just reveal what their bullshit is based off of. Not to say that I do think Rathbone did do a good job, though. That's why I don't want to do that. Yo, I've never read something so fucked up in my life. I cannot believe what I just read. Economist Gene Callahan of Cardiff University, formerly a scholar at the Rothbard-affiliated Mises Institute, wrote that Rothbard allowed the logical elegance of his legal theory to trump any arguments based on the moral reprehensibility of a parent idly watching their 6-month-old slowly starve to death in its crib. What am I reading right now? This is off the charts. Yeah, they're fucking amazing, Benjamin. What's up? Free market children. That's like all you need to know, don't you? About Murray Rothbard. And here's Mises. Here's Mises. Oh my god, dude. I can't believe what I just read. It's so fucked up. Dr. Yasmin, yeah. Rothbard. Murray Rothbard. Mises Institute associated Murray Rothbard. What a fucking weirdo, dude. That's a slow-ass bot. Wow. Ayn Rand is just mad the Soviets took away her family's immense wealth. Is that what? I don't know her I didn't know that background. So she came to America and became everyone's problem. Oh my god, dude. What did her family, how did it... Really? Her family had immense wealth? She's like, this is like the meme. They're like a meme at this point. She was the first meme. Okay. Wow, dude. This guy's fucked up. Here it is. Oh my god, dude. Check this out. Rothbard, this fucking guy, this fucking sicko, he rejected mainstream economic methodologies and instead embraced the praxeology of his most important intellectual precursor, Ludwig von Mises. Praxeology. That's where Praxben's name comes from, you guys. Holy shit, dude. Comes from this guy. Well, it comes from Ludwig von Mises. But again, praxeology. I think fucking, let me know if this tracks. I need to look into the Austrian school, but like, didn't they like sort of like go away and then it was sort of revived in the 80s or 70s or 80s? Wow. Hold up. Shit. Partnering with oil billionaire Charles Koch, Rothbard was founder of the Cato Institute and the Center for Libertarian Studies in the 70s. He broke with Koch and joined Lew Rockwell and Burton Blumert to establish the Mises Institute. Oh my god, dude. Yo, can you imagine? Do you think Praxben knows this about his ideology? Or does he, like, ignore it? What is going on here? Praxeology, Ben? Does Ben want a free child market? Does Ben want a free market of kids? Does Ben think that you should be allowed to starve your children to death? Does he embrace the same praxeology of Rothbard, who espouses these views, who founded the Mises Institute of being a fucking cuck? Jesus Christ, dude. Sounds, yeah, why don't we just call them fascists? Why don't we just call them fascists? You say he knows he's a fascist? Well, I mean, fascism is at the heart of anti-communism. I think he's just, yeah. I think he's just a fascist, and he's sort of like LARPing as like a. He could be like faking that he's like a libertarian, but he's just trying to sneak that fasci politics in there, one way or the other. I'm just saying, what leads someone to post something like this? The small dick energy's off the charts. Is this picture flipped? He's like, he's got his left hand on near the trigger there. Or a eugenicist, or both. Or both. So again, the guy is a Mises Institute partner. Mises Institute, founded by Murray Rothbard. Murray Rothbard, who advocates for a free market of children. I can't believe what I'm saying. Oh, man. Ayn Rand. Wild stuff. Associated with the Cato Institute. Founded the Mises Institute. Called it paleo-libertarianism for a while. He died in 95. Sitting in the same fucking position for an hour. Lou Rockwell, president, I think one of the other founders of the Mises Institute, told the New York Times that Rothbard was, quote, the founder of right-wing anarchism. I literally had someone yesterday tell me that anarchism is for adults. And I'm like, oh my God. Like, out of nowhere. It's like, yeah. Keep telling yourself that. All right. Again, an advocate, practitioner of the Austrian school. Rothbard rejected the application of the scientific method to economics and dismissed econometrics, empirical and statistical analysis, and other tools of mainstream social science as outside the field. What a big dummy. He instead embraced praxeology, the strictly a priori methodology of Mises. Praxeology conceives of economic laws as akin to geometric or mathematical axioms, fixed, unchanging, objective, and discernible through logical reasoning. Oh my God, dude. This is metaphysical idealism, is it not? It's some sort of vulgar idealism. These guys are dummies. There's no reason to not be a dialectical materialist in the year 2023. There's no reason. These people are very, very mediocre. And you guys, I'm not a very smart guy, and I can figure this out. You can too. The Mises Institute has the brain cells to type that anti-scientific Marx thing into Instagram. Yeah, right? Oh my God, these fucking people are losers. According to Misesian, how do you say that? Misesian economist? God, that sounds so fucking lame. We got Marxist. They got Misesian. Sissians. Oh, God. Hop is another gem, AM. According to Misesian economist, his vibes are off. Hans Hermann Hoppe Eschewing the scientific method and empiricism distinguishes the Misesian approach, from all other current economic schools, which dismiss the Misesian approach as dogmatic and unscientific. It is. It's unscientific. It's metaphysical. It's idealist. It's for dummies. If you fucking fall for this, you're a dummy. Oh my god. Incredible stuff. Alright, at least he's talking shit about Milton Friedman. All my homies hate Milton Friedman. In a memorial volume published by the Mises Institute, Rothbard's protege and libertarian theorist Hoppe wrote that man, economy, and state presented a blistering refutation of all variants of mathematical economics. Shut the fuck up, dude. These people will do anything to keep from reading Marx. David Harvey's got a book on the Austrian school. Except for the chapter on China. In which he has walked back on that chapter on China. It was written early 2000s. Before she. I hope she sees this. All right. Oh my god. Hoppe lamented that Mises, like Mises, Rothbard died without winning the Nobel Prize. Oh my god. He was advocating for a free market of kids. I feel like I'm taking crazy pills, you guys. These people are so fucking dumb. I'm going to pull that off the screen. It's not helping. I'm not getting that NED money yet. I'm losing it. Sometimes I'm like, what? Are you kidding me? All right. These people are evil, man. These people are fucked up. Anarcho-capitalists. Why, dude? Fucking why, man? Did a video on why he was wrong. It's fucking sick. That, like, never happens. Good for him. Anarcho-capitalism here. Vijay Prashad checked him at a lecture. I feel like I need to see that. Does Vijay miss? I think he misses. I don't think he misses or Mises. Or Mises. Whatever. Shut up. Okay. I like VJ. VJ's not mediocre.
Mediocre. Mediocre.
But the Mayo faces who are into anarcho-capitalism are. It's an anti-statist, libertarian, and anti-political philosophy and economic theory seeks to abolish centralized states in favor of stateless societies with systems of private property enforced by private agencies, the non-aggression principle, free markets, and the right libertarian interpretation of self-ownership, which extends the concept to include control of private property as part of the self. Oh, God, dude. What did I just read? I need a snack. I'm starved.
No! No!
Got the best snack. Pizza. Deep dish pizza.
This is not fine.
No. No. How dare you, Sushi Mom?
Quality content.
Black and yellow style, fuck you to the status. You laughed a lot before, but now you all afraid us. Thought you see the means, Glocks up looking dangerous. Hard to take us down, haters ain't debaters. Scream about roads now, taxman got the papers. Banning gold or crypto, but laws cannot contain us. NAP my mind, Mises rocked by majors. Sliding up with grade 2, agorist day traders. 3D printed, 1911. Defense distributed, I'm 357. Praxeology without exception. A priori, bitch, sit down and hear this lesson. Ain't got my grind, value on my mind. 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 Now we're back again, time for round 2. Gonna be explosive, full wreck pocket nukes.
Wow.
You cannot handle respect to private property. It's okay, you're a stop. Take this bullet for free. No liberty without reciprocity. If you dish, you must take. No hypocrisy. Self-ownership, consent, philosophy. Non-aggression measures. Now it's up with me.
They'll defend private property with violence. Yeah, we get it. How are they not the enemy?
One generation, ending poverty. Peaceful parenting, non-violent kids, you see. Free markets or a gray, I'ma slide with my trade. Commies charging, they will pay. When they starve and they don't save. Never kneel into the state. I dodge 5 on the way. Fallacies I do slay. Not an argument, back away.
That's liberty. Yeah.
Ain't cap my grind, value on my mind. Ain't cap my
They have the
grind,
Don't
value
Tread on Me
my
flag.
mind. Ain't cap my grind, value on my mind.
Their flag is a self-own. It's hilarious. Never kneeling to the state until marshals come to arrest them for tax evasion. Hey, Matt, I'm convinced. Yeah, right? Me too. I'm gonna become an ANCAP. Thank you, Matthew.
Rent, it's too damn high.
All right. That video, that's why we can't allow the arts to be defunded in our schools. And I seriously think we should teach dialectical materialism. Because honestly, it would really help people to see the world as it is. But of course, they don't want that to happen. I think the fact that dialectical materialism is not taught in schools is pretty much the most damning thing you could imagine on the the current state of education. In this economy. Not sure where I'm going with that, but I think you get the idea. It's just like the worst thing that they don't teach it to us. And of course, it's by design. Oh, shit. Well. And that's how you got libertarianism. If these people understood dialectical materialism, they wouldn't be a libertarian. That's how this works. So these are deeply mediocre, sort of silly, stupid people, you know what I mean? But they want to act fucking smug as shit like this piece of shit here. They want to be super fucking smug about the whole thing, right? But they're dumb. They're like literally dumb. And who do they serve? They serve the owners of private property. In this economy, who's that? That's the bourgeoisie. What's up, Telestruck? That's who they serve. The Austrian school. The heterodox school of economic thought advocates strict adherence to methodological individualism, the concept that social phenomena result exclusively from the motivations and actions of individuals. So it's not materialist, is it? It's idealist. No wonder they don't understand the material base of imperialism, because their philosophy is not helping them figure it out.
Extra thick!
It's drawing them away from the correct answers about the way the objective social relations work. That's why it's important to have dialectical materialism. Oh my God. These are deeply stupid people. They want to browbeat you for not being as dumb as they are. Incredible shit, dude. Individuals. Yeah.
Buongiorno.
Okay. Tell me more about that, yeah. You could trace anarcho-capitalism back to the Austrian Habsburg Empire. Okay. The flag's even similar. Mises is one of the bigger names for libertarians, and he was the head of the finance for the Fatherland Front Christo-fascist Austrian government that existed in the interwar period. Holy shit, dude. That is insane. They have childlike idealism, and they use metaphysics. They don't understand that, you know, things evolve and change. The objective social relations, the base of social relations, the means of production and the forces of production. They will have a quality shift. It's going to happen. Marx proves it, you know? That's what dialectical and historical materialism proves. Scientifically as well. It's not anti-scientific. What they're doing is anti-scientific. All they have is every accusation, right? Exactly. And they say Marxism in their argument against Marxism, which is complete bullshit. They're saying that was a fulfillment of deeply rooted dreams. No, homie. It's based off the material conditions, like the actual world. And remember, at the end of the day, one of the big things they do is they defend private property. Not talking about your toothbrush. It's personal property. We know that. Talking about landed estates. Talking about all the land and stuff that corporations own. Designed to exploit the labor of the working class. And then trickle that money up. Because we all know it doesn't trickle down. Yeah. Austrian economics was largely a laughingstock because it just ended up devolving into anti-Marxism with Mises. The USSR's existence proved him wrong until the West started to prop Austrian economics up during the Cold War and saying they'll collapse anytime now. We're coming for your toothbrushes. What's up, Nays? Hey, homie. The Mises school of thought. You guys, the Austrian school. This is so fucking... this Murray Roth... This thing blew my mind. Rothbard suggests a flourishing free market in children. I just cannot wrap my head around that, you guys. Insane. Praxeology. Murray Rothbard. Praxeology. Praxben. Praxeology. Interesting stuff there, huh? Interesting stuff. Do you think Praxben thinks you should be able to sell kids and let them die? Yeah, that makes me absolutely sick, dude. I honestly think he probably does. He's just like a fucking weird sicko. They're just literal dummies. Like baby brains. The children yearn to be sold. Can you plug a relevant video you edited? Yeah. Hell yeah. Mises being close friends to the guy who wanted to reform the Habsburg Empire after World War II.
Yo, hey, hi.
Did you talk to Praxben?
How's it going? I'm Carter, and this week's video is a little bit different. You see, about a week ago, I received a friend request from a guy named Ben. Who is this?
Why?
Who is this? And Ben is a TikToker that we occasionally stumble across.
Don't.
He is a anarcho-capitalist or a libertarian. He writes for something called the Mises Institute.
Don't do it.
And Ben didn't like the fact that I may have called some of his idols.
Folks, if you like my content, if you like that I don't debate these people, please support my content. If you like people who do debate them, that's fine. But I don't, okay? We do better things with our time. Not to say that... Oh, God, how do I navigate this? You know, we got Carter here, we got fucking... Rathbone as well. I thought Rathbone made masterful work of him. And I think it helped grow his channel, and that's good for them. But if you like that I don't platform fascists, please support my content. It does rely on your support.
Fascist sympathizers, which I still wholeheartedly believe. Ben claims that I had called a Jewish Marxist a Nazi, and he really hammers home on that in the video. But in the video, you'll see that I never said that. Another thing is...
Yeah, I learn in this sort of like community-oriented way, like I learned with you guys. Easy payments. Thanks for the tier 1 subby. Love your face. That's just how I learn. I don't really learn through debate. I think it probably does more bad than it does good. So I avoid it.
debate, you'll see that Ben never really listens to me. I think he rolled his eyes so far back into his head, he may have seen another universe. He could have been overdosing, and I don't know. Anyways, you can watch the whole debate probably in my VODs on Twitch. I think Ben uploaded it if you want to. Go over there.
Love your face, homie.
Here's the video.
Thanks for
There's
your
a lot of filler cut out. We talked in a ton of circles, and I'll interject somewhere and some parts and give you some history and kind of debunk his claims. How's your day been?
Oh my god, dude. What is that facial hair thing he's got going on?
Recording in progress.
Cool.
All right, just want to record that because I'll probably put this on my YouTube later.
Yeah, no problem.
Okay, anyways, so the order of business here is
I hate them, dude.
Accidentally came across one of your videos, or I guess a video from one of your fans of you from Twitch.
Yeah,
which was the one talking about baby markets. We don't have to talk about that, but I found the longer one of you going over my TikToks. And of course, right off the bat, you have my video where I'm trying to explain why I think National Socialism is in fact a form of socialism.
What is that mustache?
Not a very controversial opinion.
But I mean, that's very controversial. Decades. What do you mean?
No, only if you're a Marxist.
Not really. I'm pretty sure any economist from, I mean, I got my degree in literature studying this, political science, right?
What did he say?
You have my video where I'm trying to explain why I think National Socialism is in fact a form of socialism.
Okay. Oh god, dude. It's like this is hell. I'm certain we're in hell.
Of political science, and I think I can only name like maybe libertarian leaning, or maybe a few like non-libertarian, more conservative that call National Socialists
literally doing Nazi apologia.
Socialist in any modern sense.
And it's only controversial if you're a Marxist. Nazi apologia.
We understand.
Well, that shouldn't matter because you tried to discredit everyone who's not a Marxist and is a historian on the subject. So
really, anybody from Mises, I do.
Yeah, you did. We can go over that later, actually, because I got timestamps and everything.
I admit that I called them a Nazi by mistake, but colloquially, we understand Nazis as fascist, right? In America, right? We understand Nazis as fascist. So the overarching...
He's so desperate for Nazis to be socialist. That is off the charts. It's like, no, they weren't. And what is he saying? He's admitting that if they weren't socialists, then they're what? Capitalists. And that would be bad to be associated with them, right? Okay, well, the truth is they were capitalists, and it's bad to be associated with Nazis, and it's bad to do Nazi apology, you piece of shit, dude.
Point is that they're fascist. I was wrong. They're Austrian fascist or Christo-fascist, but not Nazis. But we understand.
Okay, you said the word Nazi.
You're right, but we missed that.
At least 20 times.
That's okay.
In reference to me or one of...
You are a Nazi.
My people I'm looking up to intellectually. You called a Jewish Marxist who was part of the underground... an underground group that rebelled against Hitler. You called him a Nazi. His entire life.
Who is the Jewish Marxist?
Gunter Reimann.
I'm just going to interject here.
This sounds like he's bullshitting here. Let me give you this playlist.
You're about to watch a clip, which is the one that Ben said he had watched, where I actually never called Gunter Reimann a Nazi. I didn't know who Gunter Reimann was, admittedly, but I did later on, which is a cut. Apparently Ben doesn't understand.
See, that's why you can't debate these people. They just literally lie.
Live commentary is. But I said that these people were Nazi adjacent or Nazi appealing or appealing to fascist. Anyways, here's the clip.
As economist Gunter Reimann said, the state had made it a principle that private property is no longer sacred.
Oh my god, dude, his mustache thing is so creepy. Do not leave your drink unattended by these people, I'm telling you.
Nullified Article 153 of the Weimar Constitution, which guaranteed private property. I don't know, man. If I would have read that stuff and said it was some socialist constitution, you guys would be all for it. They actually got rid of all the socialists?
What?
Really not, since they were socialists. Haha.
Bro. Just because you say it doesn't mean it's true.
What, dude?
Just because you say it. And you read a bunch of books by people who have an interest in I guess appealing to Nazis, right? Or fascists. They appeal to libertarians and caps. It doesn't matter.
I'm losing it here.
Anything as long as it's not Marxist, right?
All right. Well, you did admit that you were wrong to call them Nazis, so we don't have to dwell on that point. That's
yeah.
fair enough.
I learned from that. They weren't Nazis. They were just a different kind of fascist. They would align closer with Nazis than pretty much anyone else.
They weren't fascist.
They literally were by definition fascist.
So Mises, you referred to him as fascist for two different reasons. One is some things he said about fascism in his book Liberalism. That was written in 1927. Well, it was written before that. It was published in 1927, right? The Nazis came to power in 1933. That's a very important context that a lot of people leave out.
The idea that fascism didn't exist before the Nazis
what?
That Ben somewhat tries to push here is false. The term fascist at that time meant Mussolini's brand of fascism, and that would become the inspiration for the interwar Austrians, Mises included in this.
Right, so
he's a true
in the context of him writing this before the fascists did the worst things they ever did, right? In this time, he was experiencing the Austro-fascists, which were very, very moderate fascists.
Dr. Dollfuss, the diminutive Chancellor of Austria, who as dictator has decreed the suppression of the socialists, visits the scene of hostilities at Floridsdorf. The socialist casualties on the first day are known to have included 1,500 dead.
Out of everybody, they were possibly the
fascist,
moderate ones.
right?
Yes. They were still fascist, 100%. I wouldn't contest that. But again, this is very important, right? Because they were anti-Nazi, they were very moderate fascists. He was a member of the Austro-Fascist Party because it was required by law.
Well, he wasn't just a member.
A moderate fascist, you guys.
No,
he was a member.
No, well,
he was
not
member.
only a member. You understand that, right? He was the economic advisor to Dollfuss.
Right. So he was a member because he was in public service. He was public service because he was an economic advisor.
Yeah, but why would you join public service if you didn't support it? He could have just been a member who did nothing.
Oh,
another moment I want to, bring something up here. In the debate, I didn't mention this, but both Bauer and Hayek had fled before Mises, and so Mises had the opportunity to flee. Mises only ends up fleeing once he understands that the Nazis are coming to fascist Austria to take over.
We'll get to that. You have to, you have to let me get through this, right? Okay. So he was an economic advisor. He had been an economic advisor before the Austro-Fascists took over. He was actually good friends with someone in parliament. His name was Otto Bauer. Otto Bauer was the leader of the Austro-Marxists. He was a very good friend of Mises. Mises was an advisor to him. He was such a close advisor. Mises was such a close advisor to Bauer that he single-handedly convinced him not to start a second Bolshevik revolution in Austria.
I just want to point out here,
economic advisors, an appointed position, they'd have to know your ideology before they hire you, yeah?
The only source that Bauer and Mises were super close is Mises himself. The only things I can find online are from
his desperation to, try to distance himself and his ideology from Nazis is incredible. The guy is desperate, and he's wrong. Implying that, yes, homie, your ideology is associated with the Nazis. It doesn't matter, though. You can't win in a debate with this guy. I don't know. Let's just let it play. I'm leaning away for the video.
Revolution in Austria.
I just want to point out here, the only source that Bauer and Mises were super close is Mises himself. The only things I can find online are from the Austrian Economic Newsletter and from Mises.org. Bauer never mentions Mises. We do know that they had some form of disagreement if we are to go off of what Mises said, but that's kind of where the story ends. The idea that Mises had convinced Bauer of something was not true. I mean, Mises even writes that he could not sway Bauer of his Marxist convictions, and he didn't. Bauer joined the SDAP, which was a socialist party against the encroaching fascist movement, and then had to flee the country. And me, Caesar's nowhere to be found, except for supporting a fascist. This business approaches you. It's the KKK, and they're going to give you a bunch of money to be their chairman, right? Their economics chairman, right? Or whatever, to determine their treasury, right?
Well, no, the KKK has no power. If Biden did it, yeah.
We're going to imagine,
Without
okay,
a doubt,
the Confederacy.
100%.
The Confederacy.
Yeah. I would be like,
so then,
yo, you know what's really bad economically? Slavery.
But slavery was amazing economically.
That's
right?
a weird thing to say, but I'm gonna
it was for
what? Homie, it wasn't good for the slaves, but yeah. What a fucking idiot here. He's trying to like make him look bad for saying that slavery generated massive profits for the slave owners. Why else would they own slaves, you fucking idiot? Are you kidding me?
You know what's really bad economically? Slavery.
What is he talking about?
But slavery was amazing economically.
That's a weird thing to say.
That's a weird thing to say? What? Is it true or not? Whether or not it's weird. What a weirdo, dude. His energy is so fucking cringe. Oh my God, I feel like I need a shower.
But
it was for capitalists, was it not?
What a dummy!
No, well, not for capitalists. The capitalists,
it was free labor.
The capitalists who actually were capitalists and acted as capitalists. Had workers. They were very anti-slavery.
What? What? I have no idea what the fuck just happened there. What did that even mean? That was like the dumbest fucking thing I've ever heard in my life. What? The people who were doing the slavery were opposed?
It was for capitalists.
Let me hear that again.
No, well, not for capitalists.
Slavery was not good for capitalists? What?
It was free labor.
The people who were doing the slavery. The capitalist slave owners. It was not good for them? Because why?
The capitalists who actually were capitalists and acted as capitalists, had workers. They were very
the capitalists had workers. They were very
anti-slavery.
They were anti-slavery. Who? What is he talking about? What is he talking about?
How does that make
no,
any
it's
sense?
not free
Explain
labor.
that to me. Wait.
It's not free labor. It comes at a cost, right? Because you not only have to, of course, initially pay for the transportation, everything, but you also have to pay for, of course, their housing. You don't.
Okay, what about their wages?
Right.
They don't have.
You pay for their housing, their food. You pay for security. You pay for extra fencing. You pay for people to go after them if they escape. It was very expensive.
Okay, but
I mean, I don't want to get caught up on that, on a debate on if slavery was actually economically good.
Oh my God, what is going on in his brain, dude? This is your brain on libertarianism. He literally did the math of what it would be to be a plantation owner.
Well, actually, it was quite expensive.
Then why did they do it? It's like, why would they do slavery? This is one of the dumbest motherfuckers on the planet. Why would they do slavery if it wasn't beneficial? Oh my God, dude. Are you fucking kidding me here? It wasn't good for them. They were actually anti-slavery, he said. What is he talking about? Dumbest man on the planet.
Do I even need to say anything here? Or how do you define fascism? I guess is a better question.
Libertarian logic taken to its extreme is pro-slavery. He knows that, and he wants to avoid it. God, dude. He's got like this weird like Orwell stash, doesn't he?
Well, I would define fascism as generally a nationalist, spiritualist, post-Marxist socialism.
What a fucking dummy, dude.
I'm being very charitable to you. I'm being super
no,
nice.
You're not. You called me dumb, stupid.
You're dumb. You're
I'm
stupid.
30 times in your.
You're dumb. You're stupid.
Fucking dumb.
Is it possible that dumb and stupid people exist, and you're one of them? You piece of shit.
Dumbass. What is your
fucking dumbass
end goal? Like, what would you say is your utopia? Your fundamental, your core belief. Okay, what's your core belief?
Virtuous and orderly. I want a moral society.
Okay, what's moral though? So this is where we'll get to the fundamentals, right? I'll wait till you go, and then I'll explain mine. Okay, that way we can like see where we line up, maybe.
Jesus Christ, dude.
I don't want to get into a whole moral debate though, because this kind of defeats. Like, I wanted to cover the topics because we can get in. Like, we could have spent 30 minutes on.
Dude, get this guy a razor, please.
A debate about.
Well, yeah, I admit to making a mistake calling them a Nazi.
For 30 minutes on morals or whatever.
That does not.
Yo, that gender affirming stash is not doing you any favors, homie.
Like,
okay,
I just don't want to do that. Neo-Confederacy. First of all, that's a label placed on us.
So essentially, you didn't like that I called people fascist, essentially, because Nazi was the wrong term, and I admit to that. You know, I'm an adult. I can't.
I'm losing my mind over here.
Fascist, and you just didn't like that, and that's what we disagree on. That's our disagreement, just to make sure. Because I had the other things that I wanted to talk about, but
no, I mean, you tried to say I admitted they're fascists and stuff like that.
Well, he is a fascist.
I clearly didn't. Yes,
okay.
They're still fascist, 100%.
It is easier to tell.
Well, no, I mean, he is. We just
still not.
No, you just define fascism differently than me. That's it.
Yeah, I mean, you just give a vague definition that makes it completely.
What are you doing? You're using a definition by a guy who was a fascist. You're using the definition from the dude. If I killed someone, I'd be like, I'm not a murderer, bro. I'm just a gun shooter.
Yeah, okay.
Most of what I see, right? I don't remember their names. I don't have a library, right?
Wow.
No one they all agree that Austria's pretty fascist at the time, right? And a guy who supports a party is the same as somebody who is the treasury of like the KKK, right? Or the treasury of the Confederacy, a pro-slavery idea, right? That's the whole point I was trying to make. To me, that makes you fascist adjacent. You're a moderate fascist, or whatever you said. The Austrian party was moderate fascist. It wasn't full fascism, but any fascism to me is bad, right? So I think he supported that.
That's besides the point.
Oh, come on! Do you know what VDare is?
Isn't it like a website or a magazine or something?
Yeah, it's like a neo-Nazi website, like kind of a think tank. They both have written multiple times for that website, like pretty like for that. I mean, neo-Nazis are understandably fascist, right? Or
this says the same thing. It just says they publish his speeches, the two speeches.
Okay. So why do neo-Nazis keep coming to them then? I guess another question. Why do neo-Nazis point to this for, affirmation?
One of the big reasons a lot of Nazis, fascists, extreme monarchists go to Hoppe is because the left and some libertarians call him those things. So they're like, oh, Hoppe, yeah, that's our guy. He's like,
so what is Hoppe's argument then? Because like I would have the same thing, right? After reading Hoppe, I usually assume he would fall into like the idea that like monarchy or some form of moderate fascism kind of seems like his end goal. Like, I mean, maybe where he sees things going. I'm just trying to make conversation, see where we're going.
Yeah, so Hoppe argues that monarchy is preferable to democracy. I don't think anybody actually supports democracy. Like, actually, right?
So what's the alternative then, right? It would be minority rule, right? Over majority?
Well, the alternative is self-governance, is anarchy.
But self-governance leads to somebody else eventually governing you, right? So
I don't want to get into like.
I don't want to get into it.
I don't want to keep branching off into different debates.
I mean, but
I don't want to have like a whole anarchy. Maybe in the future we could have like a debate on anarchy and like private law and stuff. That might be something I'm interested in. But like for now, I don't want to get too into that because that's a very.
Hold on. What's this? Hoppa's worse than Rothbard? Jesus Christ. You're saying fascists like Mises and Hoppe because Marxists say they are? That's what I missed? He said that?
That's the thing, that's fascism to me.
Quite sure I'm following.
Protecting the minority is fascism. That's why I call Mises a fascist. And people
I never
like
said
him.
anything about protecting minorities.
No, but that's what it is. You just said there's stipulations, and I'm telling you,
I do want to protect minority. I mean, protecting. Wait. I
the minority opinion.
Like,
right?
I like that quote. Protecting minorities.
What's the joke?
Yeah, minority opinions.
I love
obviously.
that.
You know.
I know what you mean, but I love that quote though. It's funny.
Oh,
what is his deal?
Yeah, no, I still don't get it.
But he's still not like.
What is his deal? What is his deal?
Monarchy, right? Like the way I see it, I mean, obviously you disagree with your take on democracy, but the way I see it is supporting a dictatorship or a monarchy that agrees with you exactly is actually a pretty reasonable thing, right? There's plenty of problems, of course, with dictators and monarchs. I think, but I still think, like, generally speaking, people do support that. Well, actually, the best place to learn Marxism, like basis of Marxism, is Thomas Sowell's book.
And there it is. Ben managed at the end to remove his fingers from his ears and unstick his eyeballs from the back of his skull to give us a take. He would rather choose a dictator who believes in what he does over democracy. And if the dictator that he believes in is anything like the Mises Institute, which was founded by neo-Confederates and racist and nationalist, then I think that's bad. Or you could say fascist. I think Ben would support a fascist. And Ben, if you're watching this, I'm sorry I called you a dumbass. I'm also a dumbass. But the difference is I don't go out of my way to add someone on Discord, get into a call with them on Zoom, lecture them for an hour and a half while not listening to a word they say. It's okay. I don't blame you. You're probably very angry or triggered. And maybe next time, if
he doesn't know how to take
talk,
the L,
you'll understand.
So all he's going to do is just double down.
And that I'm just trying to be a human. I've never met someone as bad faith as you. And that's okay. You're a fascist.
Wow. That is so fucked, dude. That guy is so fucked up. Why Nazis like Hoppe? Says Hans Hermann Hoppe, criticism, expulsion of homosexuals and dissidents. Well, all right. Hoppe describes a fully libertarian society. In which there would be little or no tolerance and open-mindedness so dear to left libertarians. Instead, one would be on the right path towards restoring the freedom of association and exclusion implied in the institution of private property. He argues that towns and villages could have warning signs saying, no beggars, bums, or homeless, but also no homosexuals, drug users, Jews, Muslims, Germans, or Zulus. Hoppe makes plain that he believes that practicing certain forms of discrimination, including the physical removal of people whose lifestyles deem incompatible with the purpose of establishing certain communities, is completely compatible with his system. Incredible. Oh, check it out. No wonder he likes this. No wonder Praxben likes this. Hoppe writes, in a covenant concluded among proprietor and community tenants for the purpose of protecting their private property, no such thing as a right to free, unlimited speech exists. Naturally, no one is permitted to advocate ideas contrary to the very purpose of the covenant of preserving and protecting private property, such as democracy and communism. There can be no tolerance towards Democrats and communists in a libertarian social order. I think that's why he likes it. He's like, oh, that sounds cool, right? They will have to be physically separated and expelled from society. This is your brain on libertarianism. Libertarianism is just rebranded fascism. I mean, liberalism, yeah. Glad you seem to have enjoyed the brain rot of the video. But yeah, we all agreed that debate was terrible, never to do it again, but there was some banger dialogue to grab to make the video, like him admitting the connection of libertarianism to monarchism and his take on slavery. What did he say about slavery? What did I miss? Sorry, did we talk about that? I can't remember everything, I'm sorry. I'm losing it. Matthew, thanks for gifting one,
I
homie.
love Venn diagrams.
Telestraka got one. Oh, right, the slavery wasn't profitable one. Oh, my God. That was absolutely painful. What was he doing? What was he doing? Thank God we got this guy around to look out for the slave owners, right? Jesus Christ. Okay. It was as good as anyone could expect with someone so bad faith. So why do it? Don't do it. When someone tells you who they are, believe them. Carter should have or shouldn't have. I don't know. You know me. I'm not gonna give the guy the time of my day. Time of day. I'm gonna drag him on my terms. I'm not gonna answer a call from him at like midnight or whenever the fuck he did this. That was so weird, dude. This guy's so weird, man. His cringe energy is simply off the charts. And he like uses the R slur and he thinks it's like funny. Like, homie, you're not like beating the fascist charge. I don't think we should be giving platforms to Nazis. Only debate your IRL libertarian or liberal friends. They might listen to you. Strangers or grifters? No. Yes, very good. That's actually good analysis, you guys. Yeah. I cannot believe I heard that guy say those things. Instead of debating, get them to state a thesis, then make them defend it. Watch that, and then watch them watch them be unable to do that. I think that's part of this evolving theory I got about liberalism in general. I don't know about acceptable. I don't know what you mean, Sushima. Anyways, point is, oh, that was a curveball. I'm totally distracted now. Point is, yeah. Let's just not. Let's move on. It's not acceptable in this community. We'll put it that way. Oh, a lot of people in society will still use it and think it's okay. Okay. That's true. All right. All right. All right. We're all on the same page now. All good. Was I getting at liberalism? Something. Oh, almost had it. Almost had it there. I lost the idea. Lost it. It's gone. Sorry. You got your libertarian buddy to completely rethink the lie about the Uyghur genocide? Good for you. Dismantling imperialist propaganda is vital in our communities? Yeah. Back to your point, I think that's a really good point about being willing to talk to your liberal friends in private versus someone like me or you who, like, could potentially platform these people if I were to take them up on the offer, you know, to debate or whatever. I don't debate. I don't debate. It's like debate pauses learning, you know? It seems like it pauses learning when we could just be learning. Oh, that's awful. His mind was blown about the whole religious freedom subject under socialism. He wasn't ready for that. Oh, your friend. I didn't watch the whole thing, yeah. The whole religious freedom. Good for him. He seems like a guy willing to listen. Good for him. That is rare. It's rare to get a liberal that's willing to listen. And, like, reconsider the way they see things. I like it. I love having a shift in the way that I see things. That means I'm learning. It's one way of being able to tell. Is Yoshi feeling better? I think she's feeling better. Yeah, it's been tricky. I think we're taking it. We may have to take her to the vet. She's got this like creaky ass sound. She's like, eh. I'm like, what is your deal? Is she sick? I think we did a really bad job with her water fountain, and it wasn't clean, and I think she was not reacting positively. Yeah. I'm scared we made her sick. So we got to keep it really clean, you know? Breaks my heart. She's such a good girl. It seemed like she was getting more energetic yesterday throughout the day. I found a critique of the Austrian school as well. Let me pull that up. This is Critique of Crisis Theory from a Marxist Perspective, Responses to Readers, Austrian Economics versus Marxism. I just wanted to read through a little bit of this. This is a really long article. Too much. I'm not going to read all of it. But I think there's some things we could pick up on in the first few paragraphs here. If you want to go down the rabbit hole, this is what I'm reading right now. All right. The Austrian School of Economics, what is it? What's its role? It's a branch of marginalist economics. Differs from the other schools of marginalism by avoiding mathematics. They just don't want to do the math. Instead, it specializes in advocating marginalist ideas in ordinary language. In contrast, most of the other schools of modern marginalism specialize in building mathematical models that are only accessible to those who have mastered the necessary higher mathematics. The reason why the Austrian school avoids math is that unlike most professional economists, they aim their arguments at the non-mathematical lay public. The Austrian school is metaphysics, vibes-based economics. Exactly, Telestraka. The Austrian school, as its name implies, began in German-speaking Austria. As a result, it soon found itself in intense ideological combat with a Marxist-led Austrian workers' movement. While most marginalists simply ignored Marx, the Austrian school attempted to refute him. Whoops! The Austrians specialize in demoralizing intellectuals attracted to workers' movement, attempting to steer them towards reactionary bourgeois economics and politics instead. And that's how they function today. Since they concentrate on refuting Marx, they're frequently somewhat more familiar with Marxist ideas than our most professional bourgeois economists. Not really. As intellectuals, they love to play with ideas, have in fact absorbed certain ideas from Marx, which they use for their own purposes. Undoubtedly, Austrian economic theory was influenced by the Austro-Marxist school, and the Austro-Marxists were in turn influenced by the ideas of the Austrian school. All right. You sort of get the idea there, huh? All right. I'll read on. In the manner of intellectuals in love with their own ideas, partisans of the Austrian school love to take the ideas of marginalism to extremes. While they've had considerable influence on modern mainstream bourgeois marginalist economics in the sphere of theory, their policy recommendations are so extreme they're simply not taken seriously in policy-making circles. While the Austrian school originated in Austria, not all Austrian economists are from Austria. For instance, Murray Rothbard. We talked about him earlier. Not a good guy. An outspoken Austrian economist was an American. Today, most Austrians, as far as I can tell, are from the English-speaking world as opposed to the German-speaking world where the school originated. All right. Austrian economists claim that the capitalist system breeds peace and sometimes oppose colonial wars, such as the current U.S.-NATO wars in Iraq and Afghanistan, I guess back when this was written. The capitalist system breeds peace, you guys. Fucking kidding me? Dude, that is dummy shit. You've got to be a real dummy to believe this. Incredible, dude. Sometimes denouncing state monopoly capitalism. All right. Some leftists have been attracted to the Austrians at times and see them as potential allies in the fight against imperialism and the wars it breeds. This is a dangerous tendency and should be combated. All supporters of Austrian economics are, without exception, bitter enemies of the working class movement. Just metaphysics. It's sort of idealist, too, because it's definitely not material. These people are idiots. Austrian economics was born out of the same debates Marxism came from. It's just one is based on science and the other isn't. And then they call Marxism unscientific. He was an American, but a direct student of Mises, Rothbard. And Hoppe was a student of Rothbard. Oh my God, dude. These people are idiots. They were anti-World War I because they claimed that it hurt profits. That's the only reason they're against war. Dummies, dude. Boils down to wanting to have a modern day fiefdom. What the liberals say about China? Oh, increased economic ties leads to adoption of liberal values. Oh my God, dude. All right. So I'm not going to go on, but Ron Paul is one of the guys. Fuck, man. What else do we have to say about these people? Something, Wasserman book, Austrians on imperialism, Marxists versus Austrians. Mises went further still in his challenges to Hilferding. This reads, Wasserman explains that Mises's book, Nation, State, and Economy, flipped Hilferding's argument on its head. Oh my God, dude. Mises argued that capitalism promotes peace while socialism engenders imperialism and war. Mises. Are you fucking kidding me? Again, he says, only a liberal capitalist society, he averred, could safeguard civilization from socialism and its authoritarian imperialistic tendencies. These people are so fucking stupid. Since socialism required heavy state intervention in the economy, it also encouraged interstate rivalry and violence. Liberalism, on the other hand, engendered irenic relations between individuals based on non-coercive economic exchange. Except the whole selling kids thing. Incredible stuff here. Mises saw capitalism as a source of social cooperation and socialism as a system that leads societies down a violent path. These people are so fucking stupid. I don't know what else to say. It's like I'm arguing with babies. So fucking obnoxious. And caps. That's a rabbit hole I didn't really understand until today. What else do I need to know about these people? What have I missed? Walter Block. I want to go back to their website and watch those videos. Faceless. What about propaganda? Did we watch this one? So weird to me. Economics for beginners.
Suddenly my eyes were open and I realized that I was the bad guy.
What?
So I just started a new business. I just got married and we were looking for our first house. And suddenly the housing market crashed. I didn't understand why. And I had other questions like, if the government has a funding problem, why can't they just print more money to solve it? Or does the government really need to intervene every time there's a problem? How does it work when they just leave things alone? Nothing that I've been taught in school equipped me to answer these questions.
It's it. That's it. Those are the two options. Print money or leave things alone.
I started talking to my dad and...
That's what governments do, right?
He told me something that changed my life, and that was that the money that's in my pocket was only worth anything because people accept it. It wasn't intrinsically valuable. And these are...
She had a fucking existential crisis with money.
Things that I never even thought about before.
That was her personal 9/11.
I was Googling some of these questions and saw Mises.org, where I found a book called Economics in One Lesson.
That was your first mistake.
This totally cleared up so many questions that I had about our government and our monetary system. I learned about sound money and how to look at current events through the
pick up Marx
principles of liberty. I became fascinated about the ideas of economic freedom. I began to devour everything I could, from Hazlitt to Mises to Hayek. I attended Liberty events and met like-minded people where we had all kinds of great discussions, and I started to see things differently. Suddenly I realized that I had been the bad guy. The way I voted in the past actually violated other people's rights and my moral principles.
Just reading Hayek.
I started seeing the world clearly, and rather than repeating what I'd been fed on the news, I thought for myself and was able to connect the dots. By learning fundamental principles of economic freedom and individual liberty, I'm now able to keep my political beliefs in step with my moral beliefs.
Oh my God, no.
Most of us know that we don't live in a truly free society. We know something's off, but we're not sure what it is. The problem is that our minds have been bound of our freedom. Something's off, but we're not sure what it is. The problem is that our minds have been bound by everything from our educational system to our news outlets.
You're so close, but so far.
It's easy to feel overwhelmed. But because of
call your dad, you're in a cult.
Government is a constant drain on our liberties. Complacency is the enemy of our freedom.
Sorry.
Your ideas and beliefs make up who you are, and they affect the way you treat others and their property. Shouldn't they be carefully developed and rooted in truth? Fast forward 10 years later, and I'm...
Whoa. Rothbard? Mises Rothbard? No way, dude.
Fast forward 10 years later, and I'm just as excited and inspired by these ideas, and I'm showing the world to my children through the lens of freedom.
No. No.
And I'm grateful to have the Mises Institute and
You're
Mises.org
indoctrinating
as a
them.
beacon of light in a sea of confusion, so that
you're still confused,
I can
lady.
help the next generation know what they need to know in order to make wise decisions.
No!
To start your journey, visit Mises.org/begin.
Oh my god, dude. Rothbard founded it after splitting from the Cato Institute and the Koch brothers. Yep. We were learning about that earlier today. Oh my god, dude. She's raising her kids to be mass shooters. Worse. Crypto bros. Did you say worse? Oh, fuck. All you need to know about economics in 30 minutes. Oh, that's all you need to know. What Marxist would ever tell you that?
Hey, I got a video. I got a series of videos for you. This is all you need to know about Marxist economics in 30 minutes.
All you need to know in 30 minutes? That is a very low bar, you guys. Oh, no. What is it? Oh, man. Oh, it's one of these fucking animated things. Here we go.
What is economics? Economics often is considered a dry or dismal science. In schools, it is often taught with a focus on abstract supply and demand charts or complicated mathematical
They're not making this appealing at all.
formulas. When we think about economics or the economy, we think about money, goods or services, or perhaps government policy. Although these are aspects of an economy, economics
Let's see how long it takes for them to mention the word labor.
at its core is about human actions. It's about the choices and actions we make as individuals. It's about our individual wants, needs, and abilities. And it's about how we interact with others to benefit each other and build the society around us.
Oh my God.
Imagine, for example, if a single person were stranded on a deserted island.
Perfect. Yo. What the fuck? Let's talk about economics by talking about an analogy. That's like, what are we doing here?
This person, let's call him Bob, the top priority is obvious: survival. He needs water, food, and shelter. Some of Bob's resources are obvious. There may be coconuts or berries that can be foraged for food.
I'm dying.
Just as important, however, is his time. He must economize his time, dedicating it so as to best ensure his own survival. Does Bob focus on finding water, or does he dedicate his first few hours to building a shelter? Right away, Bob is forced to make decisions about trade-offs, the costs of making one decision over another. Bob may decide that he can survive 3 days without water, and so focuses instead on creating a shelter for the night. Another person in this situation may choose differently, but it is Bob's individual judgment that guides the choices he makes. Bob's decision may not be the right one. Risk and uncertainty are an inherent part of our human existence.
It's just all in a vacuum. Bob, it's just you and your decisions, okay? There's not an outside world influencing you and your decisions. It's just you and your decisions. This entirely metaphysical way of looking at the world.
Perhaps Bob ends up spending so much time building a shelter that he does not give himself enough time to find water when he desperately needs it. Bob's decision affects the number of days he can survive on the island. In this case, his profit is measured in terms of the number of days he is able to live, having made this choice.
Yeah.
A loss could be his death. Notice that Bob's economic decisions have nothing to do with money. They are simply the choices that he makes facing an uncertain future.
Just choices.
Luckily, most of our economic decisions are not
You want to be a billionaire? Make different choices.
matters of life and death. but basic decisions that we all make every day. These decisions all have costs and benefits that must be weighed by the individual, and this is as true for every person anywhere in the world as
It's been 2 minutes, they haven't mentioned the word labor.
it is for someone on a deserted island. Economics does not tell us what any individual should do. Instead, economics is about understanding the costs of our decisions, about understanding how we can create value by satisfying our wants and the wants of others, and about the ways that we as individuals all play a role in contributing to the rise or fall of human civilization. The question for each of us is,
pretty much,
what role do we want to play?
Or just ANCAPs in general. This is brain rot, you guys. Oh my god. They didn't even say the word labor. They didn't talk about anything. It's an entirely unscientific way of looking at the world.
What is cost? When we think about cost, we often think about
Cost.
prices, such as comparing the prices of cars. But the proper way to think about costs is not simply to consider the money we're spending on a certain item, but all of the other possibilities we're giving up in order to obtain that item.
They
Henry
redefine
Hazlitt
profit.
was an American journalist who wrote the book Economics in One Lesson. In it, he starts with a story about a baker who owns a shop. Imagine now that a kid accidentally hits a ball through the front window of a bakery. The baker is understandably upset, but is comforted by a friend who encourages him to see the larger picture. The baker now has to buy a new window, and this purchase will benefit the glass store. The glass store now has to buy materials and can pay its workers. Perhaps some of these workers end up buying the baker's bread. So this act of destruction isn't really a tragedy, but an
It's actually a good thing, you guys.
event that will benefit the local economy and others. Unfortunately,
Incredible.
this clever scene doesn't really tell the whole story. After all, if the baker's store window had not been broken, he would have both his window and his money. Money which he could have spent in other ways than making repairs. Perhaps he would have bought a new sign for his business, or a new suit for himself. The gain for the glassmaker is a loss for the sign maker or the tailor. Unfortunately, now we will never see how the baker would have spent his money. Instead, we will only see the new window that he had to fix. What Hazlitt described is called opportunity cost. The money spent on the new window is not simply the dollar price of his purchase, but of all the goods and services he could have purchased with that money.
What is this?
Words of Hazlitt, the bad economist sees only what immediately strikes the eye. The good economist also looks beyond.
Oh my
If the mistake
God.
in the baker's friend's argument is obvious to you, you may be surprised to learn how many bad economists there are in the world today. For example, Paul Krugman, a well-known economist who writes for the New York Times, has argued that incidents such as 9/11, national disasters, or even a fictional alien attack would stimulate the American economy, just like the baker's broken window. Although it's certainly true that these tragedies create jobs in construction, cleanup, or anti-alien weaponry, that doesn't mean society is actually better off, just like with the broken window.
This is emotionally damaging, you guys.
The companies that benefit from these projects do so at the expense of others. Remember, the purpose of the economy is not simply to work or make money. It is to satisfy our needs and wants as individuals. If no one actually wants or needs an anti-alien weapon, then the money, time, and resources spent on them are wasted when they could have been used for producing
That's what I
things
got
that
out of
people
this, yeah.
actually want or need. The opportunity cost is everything else that could have been done with the time, the resources, and the money that are no longer available. This is why we must look at the larger consequences of our actions, be it with how we spend our money or our time. When we think about this, it means that there will be more resources to make things we actually want, making each of us richer and happier.
What?
Unfortunately, the government, like the baker's friend, usually has a really hard time thinking like a good economist. Governments are not producers, or manufacturers, or bakers who offer goods or services in exchange for money. Governments only get their money from taxes and then use that tax money on projects of their own choosing. For example, if a government taxes the community to pay for a new football stadium, it is easy for a politician to point to a big game and say, "This is what your taxes paid for." But what no one can see is all the things the public lost because of the taxes the government placed on them. If not for the taxes, the people would have had that money to spend or save as they choose. As individuals, we may want to buy a new pair of shoes, go on a vacation, start a new business, or save for the future. The possibilities are endless. At the end of the day, we know what we need better than any government official does. This is why it's important for everyone to think like good economists. Doing so allows us to make better decisions, in the long term, about how we spend our money, and it empowers us to hold politicians accountable when they try to take it from us.
Oh my God. Where we're going, we don't need roads. I'm loving this. This is extremely entertaining. This is your brain on idealism. This is your brain on libertarianism, you guys. Lolbertarianism. It's just for dummies. It's just literally, this is for dummies. Dummies watch this and they go, oh, okay, yeah. Yes. Good. Thanks a lot, Praxben.
What is money?
Literal baby
It is
brains.
common to hear that money is the root of all.
Again, this goes with my theory that these people just stopped fucking maturing. You know, their brains stopped developing at 13. Oh, let's have a break. We already saw this one. We already saw that one.
Capital.
Give me another one. A part of me likes it, you know. Obviously, I really wish I'd be reading something else. Give us a bit of ANCAP rap. Oh, wait, are you asking me to just throw down a rap? After watching this, I've refuted Marxism and embraced whatever you call this bullshit. LPD, Libertarian Police Department? What is this? I don't like this at all. It's humor. I was shooting heroin and reading the Fountainhead in the front seat of my privately owned police cruiser when a call came in. I put a quarter in the radio to activate it. It was the chief. Bad news, detective. We got a situation. What? Is the mayor trying to ban trans fats again? Worse. Someone just stole $447 million worth of bitcoins. The heroin needle practically fell out of my arm. What kind of monster would do something like that? Bitcoins are the ultimate currency. Virtual, anonymous, stateless. They represent true economic freedom, not subject to arbitrary manipulation by any government. Do we have any leads? Not yet. But mark my words, we're going to figure out who did this and we're going to take them down. Provided someone pays us a fair market rate to do so. Easy, Chief, I said. Any rate the market offers is, by definition, fair. He laughed. That's why you're the best I got, Lisowski. Now you get out there and find those bitcoins. Don't worry, I said, I'm on it. I put a quarter in the siren. 10 minutes later, I was on the scene. It was a normal office building, strangled on all sides by public sidewalks. I hopped over them and went inside. Home Depot presents the police, I said, flashing my badge and my gun, and a small picture of Ron Paul. No one move, unless you want to. They didn't. Incredible. Now, which one of you punks is going to pay me to investigate this crime? No one spoke up. Come on, I said. Don't you all understand that the protection of private property is the foundation of all personal liberty? It didn't seem like they did. Seriously, guys. Without a strong economic motivator, I'm just going to stand here and not solve the case. Cash is fine, but I prefer being paid in gold bullion or autographed pen Gillette posters. This is amazing. Nothing. These people were stonewalling me. It almost seemed like they didn't care that a fortune in computer money invented to buy drugs was missing. Whoever wrote this is a genius. I figured I could wait him out. I lit several cigarettes indoors. A pregnant lady coughed, and I told her that secondhand smoke is a myth. Just then, a man in glasses made a break for it. Subway, eat fresh and free, scumbag, I yelled. Too late, he was already out the front door. I went after him. Stop right there, I yelled as I ran. He was faster than me because I always try to avoid stepping on public sidewalks. Our country needs a private sidewalk voucher system, but thanks to the incestuous interplay between our corrupt federal government and the public sidewalk lobby, it will never happen. I was losing them. Listen, I'll pay you to stop, I yelled. What would you consider an appropriate price for stopping? I'll offer you a 13th of an ounce of gold and a gently worn Bob Bar 08 extra large long sleeve men's t-shirt. He turned. In his hand was a revolver that the Constitution said he had every right to own. He fired at me and missed. I pulled my own gun, put a quarter in it, and fired back. The bullet lodged in a USPS mailbox less than a foot from his head. I shot the mailbox again on purpose. Incredible. This is incredible. All right, the man yelled, throwing down his weapon. I give up, cop. I confess. I took the bitcoins. Why did you do it, I asked, as I slapped on a pair of Oikos Greek Yogurt Presents handcuffs on the guy. Because I was afraid. Afraid? Afraid of an economic future free from the pernicious meddling of central bankers, he says. I'm a central banker. I wanted to cold cock the guy. Years ago, a central banker killed my partner. Instead, I shook my head. Let this be a message to all you central banker friends out there on the street, I said. No matter how many bitcoins you steal, you'll never take away the dream of an open society based on the principles of personal and economic freedom. He nodded because he knew I was right. Then he swiped his credit card to pay me for arresting him. Yeah, I don't want to do the voice. Oh, God. And cap my grind. Inside the Mises Caucus takeover of the Libertarian Party?
Right now. If I'm not a real libertarian, or if Mises is not a real libertarian, we've got problems.
We have an incredible opportunity.
I think what happened was it became, frankly, like somewhat intolerable that the people who were running the National Libertarian Party were such an embarrassment that something had to be done.
The idea of becoming a smaller, harder, more...
All right, who makes Reason they're libertarians too?
...more angry Republican Party is not a good one.
I think that we're way too internally divided.
Congratulations, incoming chair McArdle.
The vibes are so off, you guys.
I think the drivers of the division were the people who stood to lose, and now they have lost.
The Libertarian Party is under new management, tweeted Angela McArdle shortly after she became the National Committee's new chair at its 2022 annual convention in Reno, which was attended by more than 1,000 delegates from around the country.
And I hate making promises because I sound like a scumbag politician, but I will move heaven and earth to make this thing functional and not embarrassing for you. We are going to change the country.
And not embarrassing.
McArdle is part of the Mises Caucus, which swept all the leadership roles and is now in complete control of the nation's third largest political party. Mises Caucus supporters say they want to make the Libertarian Party libertarian again, and that it should no longer be concerned about offending progressives or Beltway establishment types, and shouldn't be afraid to reach out to the coalition that elected Donald Trump. Despite the group's name, they're most heavily influenced not by Austrian economist Ludwig von Mises, but by his student, Murray Rothbard, who, like Mises, was a radical capitalist, but unlike his mentor, favored the complete abolition of the state. Rothbard also advocated forming strategic political alliances with the New Left in the 1960s, and then with paleoconservative figures like Pat Buchanan in the early 90s.
We stand for repealing the entire progressive era. That's what our movement is about.
Keep capitalism and get rid of the state.
Every inch of it.
Comedian Dave Smith is host of the popular podcast Part of the Problem. One of the most...
Capitalism is the state, dummy.
High-profile and vocal backers of the Mises Caucus, and a contender to become the Libertarian Party's 2024 presidential candidate.
The priorities of the Mises Caucus have always been basically the priorities of the Ron Paul revolution, which were being anti-war, being sound Austrian economics, which right now, particularly with inflation raging, I think is a really good time to be sound on that. And then, of course, throughout the last 2 years, just completely opposing the rise of the COVID regime and all of the insanity insanity that's ruined tens of millions of Americans' lives and many more people around the world.
This is the beginning of the death of the Libertarian Party. I think it's going to become the lesser of three evils. The Libertarian Party. I think it's going to become the lesser of three
Reddit party.
evils.
Critics say they're shitposting edgelords who make controversial statements just to attract attention and that they have no real interest in running viable candidates for office.
If Angela McArdle becomes chair of the Libertarian National Committee and makes the party welcoming to bigots, the national committee that she is in charge of will shrivel and die.
They point to the Mises Caucus's deletion of an explicit longstanding commitment to abortion rights, revisiting the party's traditional open border stance, and stripping out language denouncing bigotry as irrational and repugnant, which delegates voted to replace with a commitment to uphold and defend the rights of every person, regardless of their identity. Along with the emphasis on bold social media messaging, these
That's not the original flag. It didn't have an apostrophe. It says don't.
Changes, critics say, would amount to a Trumpification of the LP and send a welcome message to alt-right adjacent elements.
Without guardrails, a movement is doomed. And this was National Review and Buckley with the Birchers, which were kind of a predecessor and fellow traveler of the Ron Paul Revolution.
Welcome to the Reno Reset.
I think that we need to come back to being truth tellers.
McArdle, a paralegal based in Southern California, won the race for Libertarian National Committee chair with a resounding 70% of the vote. She says that the party face-planted during the pandemic by failing to take a strong stance against lockdowns and vaccine mandates, and that its messaging is far too tame and conventional to counter the power of the authoritarian state.
Blah, blah, blah.
If anything like a lockdown or a vaccine mandate happens again, we don't whiff the ball and humiliate ourselves and alienate everyone out there.
Congressman Paul, I believe you are the only man on the stage who opposes the war in Iraq, who would bring the troops home as quickly as almost immediately.
They attack us because we've been over there. We've been bombing Iraq for 10 years.
When I talk about bold messaging, I'm thinking about two instances in particular that almost all libertarians can relate to. Ron Paul's Giuliani moment.
I don't think I've ever heard that before, and I've heard some pretty absurd explanations for September 11th.
They don't come here to attack us because we're rich and we're free. They come and they attack us because we're over there.
And the other moment that I point to was when Ron Paul was on the debate stage and people asked him about drugs.
How many people here would use heroin if it was legal? I bet nobody would put their hand, oh yeah, I need the government to take care of me. I don't want to use heroin, so I need these laws.
The Mises Caucus has branded its effort as the Ron Paul Revolution 2.0.
That's what it is. These are the kids who came up, in 2008 and 2012, inspired by Ron Paul. Now they've been to college, they've grown up, they got their own lives and families and things, and they're ready to move in and take the next step.
It's not the first time that critics of the LP have looked to Paul to breathe new energy into the party. The former Republican congressman from Texas ran for president on the Libertarian ticket in 1988.
It's time we as the American people woke up, led the charge, tell the American people that there is an alternative, there is another option. The option is voting for liberty. To vote for liberty this year is to vote for the Libertarian Party. Thank you very much.
At the time, Murray Rothbard wrote that the LP had become increasingly flaky, libertine, and culturally leftist. He saw Paul's campaign as a last desperate attempt to save the party, but it ultimately failed in his view, leaving the LP spiraling downward into oblivion. Paul ran for the presidential nomination again in 2008 and 2012 on the Republican ticket, generating huge crowds and interest in libertarianism, especially with regard to ending foreign wars and the Federal Reserve. Paul himself was on hand in Reno, headlining a Mises Caucus event the night before McArdle took control of the party.
Wow.
I think bolder messaging is important.
Yeah.
But we don't need edgelording. We don't need posting
super
stuff
loud.
just to troll people or saying outrageous statements just to get attention.
Justin Amash was a Republican congressman from Michigan, once
He's independent
described
now.
by Politico as the new Ron Paul in Congress because of his willingness to buck party line votes on principle. He switched his affiliation to the LP in his final term, making him the party's highest office holder since its founding in 1971. He explored a run for the Libertarian Party presidential nomination in 2020 before changing his mind, paving the way for a run by longtime Libertarian Party member Joe Jorgensen.
There are some people within this party who think that if you just say the most outrageous thing possible and you get a lot of attention for it, that's a positive thing. Like, it's almost like any news is good news for you. It doesn't matter.
Any publicity is good
any
publicity.
publicity is good publicity. And I don't agree with that.
On Martin Luther King Day this year, the New Hampshire Libertarian Party, whose leadership are members of the Mises Caucus, tweeted, "Black people in America get special access to essential drugs, receive special funding due to race, and are first in line for every college and every job. America isn't in debt to black people. If anything, it's the other way around."
Oh!
The tweet was later deleted. Jeremy Kauffman, who's running for U.S. Senate, helps to run that Twitter account.
I think anyone who knows me, who's spoken to me, like, I'm not a hateful person. I've got a bit of a wit, and sometimes I'm trying to make jokes or whatever.
You've used the N-word on occasion. You've applauded the death of John McCain, in an official capacity. Is that the kind of messaging you want to see the national party kind of take on?
Not necessarily. So I do think they should be stronger in their messaging, and some of that stuff, even said the N-word. I've never called anyone an N-word, and I think the idea that there's going to be just one word that's tabooed that you're not allowed to say, I think that's a ridiculous idea.
So here's a tweet that you did. If 1,000
I
trans
should be able to say the N-word. It's my legal right.
people were murdered every year, but there were no taxes, we'd live in a substantially more moral
They're
world.
13 years old mentally.
The state is much more evil than without. And look, I don't think I got the wording perfect on that, but I would stand by that statement if you put Jews or whatever in.
Who are you trying to reach with that kind of formulation?
I was not trying to reach anyone with that. That was a reply to someone. She deleted it, so you can't see it. But that was a reply to a member of the Libertarian Party who said that trans issues are a bigger issue than taxes. And I was trying to make an example of how there are not that many trans people murdered in a year. It is not some epidemic.
As a result of this organization, I've had plenty of threats.
Brianna Coyle, who quit the party after the Mises Caucus takeover, was the author of the transgender-related tweet that Kauffman was responding to.
They've used me to fundraise before because obviously I'm a communist or a child groomer because I don't want queer kids to be abused.
Obviously, a lot of people read that the wrong way, so empirically, I'm not going to defend. If people are misreading what you tried to say, then you've got to accept that and say, I didn't say that the right way. I think this notion of like appealing to the middle and this kind of stuff, and we can never say anything offensive, that'd be a great strategy if we were at 30 or 40%. If we were closing the gap and we were closing for the middle. We're at 2%. We've got to be something that's motivating.
McCardle says she negotiated behind the scenes for the New Hampshire Libertarian Party to take down its Martin Luther King Day tweet, and told Reason that the National Party won't be emulating its inflammatory style. But like Kauffman, McCardle and the leadership of the Mises Caucus see the LP's approach of trying to appeal to the political center as a colossal error.
What they've tried to do is play it safe, appeal to the middle, and say, I'm fiscally conservative and socially liberal. I'm the best parts of this, of the liberals over here with my social stances, and I'm the best parts of the conservatives. When we're not, we're our own thing. We're our own paradigm that we need to push forward. We need to push forward our own culture, our own vision, our own language, our own narrative.
Michael Heiss is the founder of the Mises Caucus, which he started after the 2016 presidential campaign of Gary Johnson.
I guess I'm having an Aleppo moment. We were fiscally conservative. We were socially liberal.
No drugs legalized outside of marijuana.
So Jewish bakers should have to bake the cake for the Nazi wedding.
That would be my contention, yes.
I think Mrs. Clinton, no matter what you might think of various economic policies, is very well qualified to be president of the United States. I would not say the same of Mr. Trump, with all respect.
What many members of the Mises Caucus found particularly disappointing was Johnson's selection of former Massachusetts Governor Bill Weld to join his ticket in the 2016 campaign.
They say I have some purity test. I think the libertarian nominee should be a libertarian. That's my purity test. I don't think they should be a war hawk. By the way, Bill Weld was a fucking lobbyist for Raytheon. Didn't you guys know that? Yeah, Bill Weld, a lobbyist for a weapons company. Yeah, I know it's a purity test. I don't think we should put that guy up.
Who are the Supreme Court picks you're going to make?
Well, I'm gonna turn this over to Bill.
Merrick Garland, I think, would have been a very good pick, and he's nominated by Obama. I'm here vouching for Mrs. Clinton, and I think it's high time somebody did.
Johnson served 2 terms as a Republican governor of New Mexico and got 3.3% of the national vote when running on the Libertarian ticket.
Gary Johnson, 4.3 million votes, highest vote total ever. No lasting movement, no return on investment on those votes. They didn't stay because they weren't what you might call true believers. They didn't feel it in their bones. You know, it didn't have that same animation to it that the Ron Paul thing. You know, why is there no cultural Rand Paul movement that lasts? Why is there no cultural Gary Johnson movement that has lasted? But there is a Ron Paul revolution that lasts to this day. I think we need to learn from that and learn what the implication from that is.
Heiss says his strategy is working, pointing to the 37 state party affiliates that the Mises Caucus had taken control of prior to the convention.
We have a joke that we talk about amongst the board here in the caucus, and that is that every state that we have fucked ends up loving this dick.
What do you mean by that?
Well, it means that, so, you know, you're espousing the narrative of the people who have opposed us and saying that we're this or
Oh. Is that a Jordan Peterson shirt?
that, and we're helping Trump, or we're Republicans, or this or that, and that's the counter narrative to try to stop us. We are the people who are getting the signatures in these states. We're the people who are showing up and doing the work and creating new counties and all of this stuff, injecting money through the membership. We are doing those things. So when reasonable people see that, who maybe were not Mises, they end up thanking me later.
Is it a good idea for the leader, you know, the thought leader, you are now the eminence gris of the Libertarian Party, to be using rape metaphors, though?
I mean, you made it a rape metaphor, but I think it's funny.
Okay.
And I think they think it's funny. And I think I think the party's been very humorless for a long time, and that's part of the problem of the negative culture that we're trying to fix.
The convention was buzzing over an article that had just been published by the Southern Poverty Law Center titled Mises Caucus, Could It Sway the Libertarian Party to the Hard Right? And McCardle gave out a mock Failed Grifter of the Year award to the SPLC at a Mises Caucus event.
The Southern Poverty Law Center, or the Soviet Poverty Lie Center, as Tom did.
Jesus Christ, dude. They are so lame.
Lorenzo calls it. The Southern Poverty Law Center is the ideological enforcement arm of the regime. And I would want to repel anybody who is clueless enough to treat it as a source worthy of a moment's attention.
To kick off the convention,
oh my God, the way they talk is just so annoying.
The Mises Caucus booked as a speaker the writer and historian Tom Woods, who is the host of his own immensely popular podcast.
Prepare to set fire to the index card of allowable opinion. Your daily dose of liberty education starts here. The Tom Woods Show.
Former party chair Nicholas Sarwark counter-programmed Woods by booking Edward Snowden to speak in a different room at the same time.
I came to the conclusion that there is no magic combination of words I can ever utter that will take somebody who, like, for example, who would put Snowden against me and suddenly make him say, oh, I've been wrong about you my whole life. That's just, unfortunately, it won't happen. And you just have to get over that.
What is the biggest misconception about you floating out there?
The thing that most bothers me, probably, because it's the one that sounds the most plausible, is this claim going all the way back to the League of the South days from 1994. Because look, the League of the South these days is not an organization I or anybody I know would join. And it changed.
In 1994, Woods attended the founding meeting of the League of the South, a group that he maintains only later became a neo-Confederate white separatist organization involved in the Charlottesville Unite the Right rally. Woods says that in 1994, it was a group of, quote, nerdy academics, unquote, like him, and that he had no idea what the League of the South would later turn into.
I've never apologized for it, though. The easiest thing in the world for me would be to say, I'm so sorry I joined an organization, or I was at the founding meeting of an organization that is outside the allowable range of opinion. I'm not sorry, because I didn't do anything wrong. Yeah, it was edgy to be in that group, but we never meant any harm to anybody.
There is a tendency for outsider groups to attract other outsiders. That's the nature of entryism into political movements and the reason for the open letter against fascism in 2017 after the Charlottesville massacre. The only way to stop entryism is to put up clear signs that say no bigots allowed.
Well, if it does need to be said, here's the truth, and I speak for everybody in the Mises Caucus when I say this. We reject racism. It's collectivist, toxic garbage.
That's what Dave Smith told a Mises Caucus audience in May 2021. But some party delegates were alarmed that at the convention, the caucus wanted to strike a sentence from the LP's party platform condemning bigotry as irrational and repugnant.
Why is that something that should be taken out of the Libertarian Party platform?
What is a bigot? No one can agree. People think I'm a bigot because
oh my God, dude.
I have certain friends they don't like.
I think a bigot is probably somebody who talks about Martin Luther King Day, says blacks have nothing to complain about.
But no one agrees.
Right.
All it leads to is everybody in the party pointing fingers and calling each other a bigot. I believe in freedom of speech. I prefer when people don't say horribly racist, offensive things. I think that it's not well met, that it's pointless, it's senseless. It's not a good position to take.
But people disagree on racism.
Regardless of your political affiliation.
But there's room for that in the Mises Caucus Libertarian Party.
Can you explain what you mean when you say there's room?
Is the Mises Caucus position that you can be a bigot and be a member of the Libertarian Party?
Yeah, I think that is absolutely the position.
Yeah.
Because we don't agree on what.
Oh, God. Oh, my God, dude.
Being a bigot means.
I suspect that what they're driving at here is that this is more of an attempt to sort of curry favor with people who are never going to like us anyway. I mean, if you look at the key issues the libertarian movement has focused on, the way I see it, they all disproportionately benefit non-whites. The drug war, which we can't shut up about, we talk about that constantly.
Libertarianism isn't about wrongthink. It's about non-aggression, self-ownership, and property rights.
Heist believes that the platform's previous anti-bigotry condemnation fed what he calls a woke or cultural Marxist agenda.
What is happening nowadays with the wokeism is people are using language as dialectics along cultural lines to push for collectivist ends. So back in the day when you had cultural revolution, or the Marxist revolutions, they had their dialectics of the rich versus the poor and the owner versus the worker, and they were pushing towards collectivist ends. It's the same ideology that's happening now, but they're pitting, cis versus, straight, and male versus female, and trans versus whatever.
I don't think it makes sense to get rid of denouncing racism and bigotry.
That guy's a dummy, dude. He's convinced himself he's smart. That's the weirdest thing.
Is it an essential element in any party platform? It's not necessarily a position on legislative policy, for example, or governmental policy. On the other hand, removing it makes some kind of statement about what your values are, and I don't think there's any benefit to removing that, and I think it will probably hurt us with a lot of people who might otherwise say this is a party that endorses that.
The line.
He's leader of the Mises Caucus. And what does that mean specifically?
Condemning bigotry.
Oh, he's leader of the Mises Caucus.
Was ultimately removed. But on the initiative of former Libertarian Party vice presidential candidate Spike Cohen, a new line was added, stating that the party would uphold and defend the rights of every person, regardless of their race, ethnicity, or any other aspect of their identity.
Most of the people within the Mises Caucus are young activist types, and I don't think they're coming here because they're nationalists or bigoted or any of that stuff. That's not to say that there aren't people within the Libertarian Party, just as there are within the Democratic Party and Republican Party and throughout the whole world, who are bigoted and racist. There are people like that. And I think we should call out people like that, and we should denounce those kinds of statements. But do I think that the caucus as a whole is like that? I don't think so.
During his speech at the convention, Amash read from a book on the subject of political liberalism.
Anarchism misunderstands the real nature of man. It would be practicable only in a world of angels and saints. Libertarianism is not anarchism, nor has it anything whatsoever to do with anarchism. All right, I'll read you some more quotes. Every single one of those quotes is from Mises, one of my heroes. In this book, Liberalism. That's just one book.
Amash says he read the excerpts not because he agrees with every word or to criticize anarchists, but to point out that to compete on the national stage, the Libertarian Party needs to appeal to more than just purist libertarians.
If Ludwig von Mises or Justin Amash or pretty much anyone in this room
these people are so mediocre.
Not libertarian enough for you, it's not going to work.
At the end of his speech, Amash received a standing ovation.
I just wanted people to see that, hey, we're too quick to jump on each other. Here's a guy we hold up as a hero within our philosophy, and yet if he were here today, he might be called a woke leftist or ridiculed or rejected, or they might call him blue-pilled.
The Mises Caucus did succeed in removing the party's pro-choice plank.
People feel that they are at a crossroads now where it's an irreconcilable difference and we should remove it.
I don't like her.
And have no comment on it as a national party because there are members on both sides of the issue who are arguing in good faith. We tend to push out people who are a little bit more socially conservative, and I think that there's room in the party for people who are libertine and socially conservative, and I would like them to feel that way.
The Mises Caucus leadership also says it's a mistake for the Libertarian Party to take an unequivocally open borders stance on immigration.
When you put open borders plus pro-abortion in there, again, it kind of forms a cultural hegemony for one side that might not be indicative of the wider libertarian movement.
Along with Rothbard, one of the biggest influences on prominent members of the Mises Caucus is the political theorist Hans Hermann Hoppe, who disagreed with the pro-immigration views of Ludwig von Mises. He wrote that politicians have a perverse incentive to let in unproductive parasites, bums, and criminals, and that the power to admit or exclude should be stripped from the hands of the central government and reassigned to the states, provinces, cities, towns, villages, residential districts, and ultimately to private property owners and their voluntary associations.
Jesus Christ.
Hoppe advocates for the Swiss model, where local assemblies, not the central government, determine who can and cannot become a Swiss citizen.
I don't think that anybody inherently has a right to go to an area that they don't own or are not invited to.
What could possibly go wrong?
I think that probably my ideal situation under the current paradigm would be something like a sponsorship system, an invitee system, where you basically have to get an American citizen to vouch for you and financially kind of, like back you in order to come into the country.
Hoppe has also suggested that Democrats and communists will have to be physically separated and expelled from a libertarian society.
They love that. Who's going to make fun of Praxben's turtlenecks when they ban all the communists?
Open borders and private borders are not the same thing, but they're both libertarian canon. So again, by taking a side on this, we're representing one side and basically pushing out another side or making them feel not represented.
And my proposed solution is I'm looking for the smallest libertarian thing possible. I don't want to take your socialism away from you. A lot of people are earnest socialists. And so, like, you know, but
that's what Vermont is for. Basically, what you're saying is you can be in New Hampshire, you can be in Vermont.
Yeah, right. And so, like, but yes, I think if you're going to have, certainly, if you're going to have a democracy, and you're going to have a libertarian society, people who are going to come and use democracy to take away liberty, I don't want those people as neighbors. I'm not calling for anything specifically, and I would like to enforce that belief through libertarian principles. But yes, I do not want socialists in my neighborhood. I do not want communists in my neighborhood.
Like the Mises Caucus, Amash often talks about the decentralization of political power, but he's also insistent upon the central importance of liberalism, or the protection of individual rights, even at the hyper-local level of government. He says this idea is foundational to the United States and should be one of the Libertarian Party's core messages.
I think that the emphasis should be on getting us back to our roots as a country. What do we believe in as a basic set of principles? And really what this country is about is liberalism in the classical sense. The idea that people should be able to be free to make their own decisions about their lives, and government, to the extent possible, should just stay out of it.
On the first day of the...
He's right, by the way, in the sense that that is liberalism in the classical sense.
Convention, guest speaker Edward Snowden made a similar point.
Freedom from permission. That is what liberty is. It is the ability to act without asking, to speak and to write and to do and to be yourself without getting a paper stamped, without submitting yourself and the completed form alongside it to some central authority.
While Mises Caucus endorsed candidates swept all other leadership positions that were up for grabs, there remains a discontented minority within the party, and McCardle says that about 40 members quit after the Mises Caucus took power.
Can you explain why you resigned from the party?
Yeah, I saw the numbers. I've been thinking about this for a while. You know, the party has been an embarrassment to libertarians for a very long time. I think, quite frankly, it's going to be even worse than it used to be. This is the paleo strategy happening yet again within the LP. This is, you know, people like Lou Rockwell behind this. And, you know, it's a shame to see. There's a lot of bad actors that are, you know, not condemned.
Others are taking a wait-and-see approach.
I think it's going to be interesting. I welcome new membership. I welcome change. I think that change is good. I think progress is good. I think right now there's a lot of complicated feelings from a lot of delegates, and I'm hoping that the people who get elected are willing to work with everyone, and if they are, I think that there could be good things.
We'll see what happens. If they do take over, either they're going to be a smashing success and we'll all be able to cheer for the victories that we're getting, or it will fail and we'll learn from that, or it'll be somewhere in between. We'll maximize on successes and learn from the failures.
Got a bigger forehead, mirror him.
It'll be somewhere in between. We'll maximize on successes and learn from the failures.
Amash, who is sticking around and is a rumored 2024 presidential candidate, says that he hopes the energy from the Mises Caucus can be channeled in a positive direction that grows the party. He says it should prioritize supporting candidates committed to protecting individual rights.
Do you feel comfortable in the Libertarian Party as the Mises Caucus takes over?
Yeah, I do. We have to see how things go. I don't think they were going great under the previous administration or previous ones before that.
Yeah.
We have a lot of work to do as a party. That's not to say I don't respect and appreciate a lot of the work that was put into it, but we have a lot more work to do, and it's not going to be easy to get this party on track. So it's an uphill battle. I want to give them the opportunity. They know there's something wrong with the way this country is being managed at the governmental level. They don't like what's going on in the Republican Party or the Democratic Party, and they're here because they want to bring that energy to something. It's about channeling that energy in the right direction. We should be happy about the fact, as a party at least, that everything does seem to be revolving around Donald Trump, because I think he alienates so much of the country that is a real opening for us, and the Democrats have such a weak team that's an opening for us. I think we need to be pulling from the right and the left. I mean, I don't view libertarianism as a right or left philosophy. It can pull from both of those sides. We're a full spectrum philosophy, and I'd like us to bring in people right now, and we have that opportunity. This is maybe the chance of a lifetime over the next couple of years to bring people into the party.
Angela McArdle won with...
It's like they don't even believe in anything. It's the weirdest
70%
thing.
of the vote or something like that. But 300 people out of, the 1,000 or so who talked or who voted against her. What's your message to those people?
By our fruits you'll know us.
Wow. That was from Reason TV. From 11 months ago. By our fruits you'll know us. The Mises Caucus Mastermind.
The foundation.
This guy.
Of our strategy is nullification and decentralization.
Michael Heiss is the founder of the Mises Caucus and the leading strategist behind the group's takeover of the
He's sort of a dummy.
Libertarian Party at its 2022 convention held this year in Reno, Nevada.
Mr. Chairman, is taxation theft? Taxation is indeed theft.
The caucus fashions itself as the Ron Paul Movement 2.0, with a message focused on ending wars, ending the Fed, and ending what they call the COVID regime. He formed the Mises Caucus after the 2000...
All right, Dan, this video is just the full unedited video. All of his bangers were in the other one. Okay. Jesus Christ. All right, where were we? What is profit? Or let's do what is capitalism?
What is
So this is from their website.
capitalism? The civilization of mankind can be traced to the establishment of property rights. With property rights...
Jesus Christ. Oh my God. Did you hear that?
The civilization of mankind can be traced to the establishment of property rights. With property rights, individuals could own land, capital, and goods, and then trade or sell them to others. This economic activity is referred to as the market. This doesn't mean it necessarily takes place in a physical market. It simply means that goods and services are voluntarily traded. For most of human history, property rights have been limited to those in power. For example, a king or lord had ultimate control over those who lived under their protection. If the king desired beets, farmers were to farm beets. If the lord needed horseshoes, blacksmiths forged horseshoes. Ordinary people had the ability to trade among themselves, but those in power could direct their production if they so desired, or punish those who resisted. The emergence of capitalism changed this. Capitalism is mass production of goods to satisfy the needs of the greatest number of people.
That's it. They still haven't said the word labor.
Capitalism was revolutionary by recognizing property rights for all, regardless of background and social standing. Under capitalism, even the most vulnerable in society had an absolute claim to their own labor and property. It did not
There it is, labor.
guarantee equality of property, but capitalism eliminated any right by anyone else to infringe upon it. In doing so, capitalism empowered consumers, rather than those in power, to influence what was produced in the economy. This happens via the profit mechanism. If enough people demand a good and it can be sold for more than it costs to produce, that means the production of that good is profitable. Some of the richest people in the world today have made their money not by appealing to the rich, but by appealing to the masses. Walmart's business model, for example, is geared towards selling goods cheaply to as many people as possible. Critics of capitalism try to condemn it as greed. This is false. Greed and envy are human vices, and they exist in any economic system. What capitalism does is incentivize the production of goods and services that people desire on the market, rather than leaving those decisions to powerful individuals or governments. Throughout human history, we have seen property rights and markets lift billions of people out of poverty. Everywhere in the world, property and economic freedom are correlated with improved quality of life, health, and life expectancy. Capitalism is a peaceful system of collaboration between producers and consumers, and functions by the wants and needs of the greatest number of people. The government plays no role in a truly capitalist system. When the government interferes and forces regulations on producers and consumers, it ceases to be a capitalist system.
It's the dumbest thing.
Capitalism is freedom of consumer choice.
Jesus Christ, dude. I simply could never be associated with these people. You have to be a true baby.
What is cronyism?
Here we go.
Activists blame capitalism for the world's biggest problems, like the high costs of healthcare. Some even argue that economics itself is simply propaganda for businesses to exploit workers. Government schools often celebrate regulations, subsidies, and other interventions because they protect consumers against exploitative businesses and capitalist greed. The truth is precisely the reverse. The profit and loss economy lowers prices and increases the quality of goods through competition, which benefits society as a whole. When government intervenes in this production of goods and services, it does so by passing laws and enacting regulations that benefit and favor certain businesses over others, all in the name of protecting the public. This granting of privileges and favored status to people because of their political power or connections is called cronyism. The beneficiaries of cronyism serve the politicians and bureaucrats who appointed them, and not the consumers who buy the products from the regulated companies. For example, imagine you run a small business that produces vegetable soup. Your top priority is satisfying customers. A satisfied customer is a returning customer. To this end, you choose your vegetables, recipes, packaging, and distribution based on your best estimates of what the consumer wants. If consumers like and value your vegetable soup, you earn profits. If consumers don't value it, you suffer losses. Competition and business reputation promotes efficiency and happy customers. Now imagine that the government decides to regulate the vegetable soup industry. Bureaucrats, not knowledgeable businessmen, now decide the full process of making soups, mandating the quality of the vegetables, the type of ingredients, the techniques for making soup that can be used, and even how you can advertise your soup. To enforce these new regulations, the government requires licenses and compulsory inspections. As a soup producer, you must now spend considerable resources catering to political regulations.
And cleaning.
Although the government justifies its intervention in the name of protecting consumers from bad soup makers.
This is an argument against regulation, against like having food inspectors. Are you fucking kidding me? These people are like, just let the people get sick and they'll let the market figure it out, right? And wild stuff over here.
The new regulations create compliance costs and barriers to entry. This reduces competition.
Yeah, you gotta like clean the soup pots and pans before you use them again. Oh, very unreasonable expectations over here.
By injuring the smaller soup producers and helps the larger soup makers.
Nazis.
In this way, the law restricts the supply of soup and raises prices to the detriment
Praxben is an actual Nazi.
Of all consumers. Since bureaucrats make and enforce the regulations, it should come as no surprise to learn that Big Soup lobbied for the new rules that benefit them, hurt rivals, and reduce competition.
There will be a veritable child economy, Ross.
It succeeds because competition makes businesses accountable to consumers. Cronyism doesn't work because it favors politically connected insiders, hurts small businesses, and gives consumers fewer choices.
It's capitalism, dummy.
When cronyism fails, and it always does because it is based on favoritism and paybacks, we all lose. Most people think the answer to any economic problem is to get the government more involved, enact more regulations, appoint more committees, etc. The truth is precisely the reverse. We need less intervention in all areas.
Jesus Christ. Here we go. What is socialism? I have to do this one next. I have to.
What is socialism? Economics studies human action. Using economics, we can understand how social systems create different results based on how they allocate resources. With a market economy, production is guided by enterprises seeking profit and innovation. With cronyism, government influences market outcomes with intervention. A command economy rejects markets entirely in favor of central planning. This is socialism. Under socialism, central planners control what is made, who makes it, and who benefits.
And they got a mustache too.
While markets reward those who best serve customers, socialists promise that everyone's needs are taken care of equally. Instead of individuals
Capitalism doesn't promise that?
choosing what goods and services they prefer to spend their money on,
Yeah, that's
they are
bad,
provided only with what goods and services the central planners have chosen for them.
They got a mustache.
Some people may reject the central plan. The result is that socialist countries tend to be
They're shot.
politically authoritarian. The economic consequences of central planning are just as bad. For example, profits reward and encourage innovation and efficiency. If you are the first to create a new product or find a cheaper way to provide a service, the individual who risks capital
Innovation.
is financially rewarded. Under socialism, there is no incentive to innovate.
What?
Because the rewards go back to the planners.
What?
Central planners also operate based only on their own knowledge, which is always less than the collective knowledge of society.
Oh my God, what does that even mean?
Think of the difference between a published encyclopedia, which is static and quickly becomes dated, and a decentralized alternative, like Wikipedia, which is constantly evolving and growing.
I'll go with the encyclopedias.
Markets also create a unique piece of knowledge: prices. Since many
Honestly, you'd be better off with the encyclopedias. We know how it's like just not a great place.
resources, such as steel, have a variety of different end uses. Prices
That's the
signal
problem.
whether the use of a specific resource satisfies the top priority
No, they don't update encyclopedias.
of the
Ever.
community. Should a factory produce hammers or nails?
Or sickles.
In a market economy, prices indicate when there is a greater need for one product over another. In a command economy, government blindly makes that decision.
Oh, blindly.
Without economic calculation, enabled by prices, a complex economy becomes impossible.
What?
The socialist goal of redistribution of wealth makes the basic mistake of not understanding how wealth is created.
Oh my God, above.
An economic system that does not reward innovation, saving, and production will see
They're
the quality
projecting, you guys.
of life for everyone decline.
Prices.
Often, politicians today will not go so far as to call for the socialization of every part of the economy.
But they're
only
still
for
a
certain
socialist.
sectors, like healthcare, roads, and education. While a mixed
They want private roads, you guys. They want to privatize roads.
economy of markets and socialist services can function better than a purely socialist economy, there are problems that still exist. For example, a truly socialist healthcare system forces decisions about the use of scarce resources, like
Taco Slaps, thank you for the 9. Thank you for the Prime subby, homie.
hospital beds.
I appreciate your
machines,
support. Folks, please, please, please support my content. Please feel free to, if you got a couple bucks, you can subscribe. You can support on Patreon. You can support with a one-time tip. Really, really do appreciate y'all very much. Is there another day left in the month? Oh, there's one more day in the month. I gotta wait one more day for the Patreon payout. Feel free to hit me with a tip. I really do appreciate your support, y'all. We try to make, a nice space for Marxist-Leninists, nice space for progressive people, even liberals who are willing to listen and be a part of the community and not be too debatey. We have this space. It's an educational space Today I got into it. Last night I got into it with Praxben on Instagram in the DMs. And so I've decided to turn Lenins into Leninade. And so we've turned this into an educational experience today, learning about ANCAPs, anarcho-capitalists, learning about these libertarian cucks, these fucking losers, these ding-dongs, these unscientific dickheads. Yeah, anyways, if you appreciate this content, if you like this space, feel free to support. I really, really, really do appreciate that very much. Otherwise, let's keep watching.
And medicines, to be decided not by individuals, families, or doctors, but by government planners. While patients
death panels
of socialist healthcare may not have to pay to visit the doctor, they may face other critical obstacles like long wait times, medicine shortages, and rationing of care.
Oh my God, Cuba called.
All resulting in a lack of medical freedom. Economics explains why freedom makes society richer and more prosperous. The case for socialism is not grounded in economics, but an appeal to equality.
That's absolute bullshit.
The result is
people
to make
are
people
such dummies.
equally poor.
To learn more. Literally, this makes you dumber. Oh my God, that was painful. That was painful, dude. Yes, this says the National Socialists were socialist. Oh. What a fucking dummy, dude. Like, literally gotta be one of the dumbest people. If I ever saw this guy in person, I would just vomit. Leftist Twitch streams calls everyone a Nazi.
Praxben guy on TikTok. He's like a big TikTok creator. He's a libertarian who loves like the Ludwig Institute or whatever, the von Mises Institute, which is like literally just a fascist institute, like unironically, unapologetically, just built to be like a fascist institution. You can look it up. The guy had some weird ass like fascist tendency, like Nazi apologia.
Yeah,
it's actually insane.
We just saw it.
Dr. Tiedelman is probably the world's greatest expert on
with
this.
that little
His
mustache.
work has been positively reviewed by people who actually lived in.
Bets on if that dude's a Nazi. I wonder where he got his
No
views
gamba,
from.
no gamba, no gamba.
I wonder, bro. Not a Nazi, by the way.
I had citations in my video. I had points to make. On one part, he said,
Your citations don't mean shit when you cite other Nazis.
He's right. He's right, dude. Here's this article on anarcho-piratism. Oh my God, what's going on here? What's on his hat? Whose hat? I don't know. Looks like a dolphin. I don't know. Anarcho-piratism. The stateless traditions of pirates. He thinks he's a pirate. Pirates were notorious seafarers who operated outside the bounds of the law and conventional society. Despite their reputation as ruthless and violent criminals, pirates were also known for their highly organized and sophisticated social systems. What, dude? No. Despite their reputation, they're known for being highly organized. In particular, pirates were able to resolve conflicts and maintain order in their communities without the use of a formal government or legal system. This made them an example of a stateless society that relied on arbitrary rules and customs to maintain social order. What a weirdo, dude. One of the key ways in which pirates resolved conflicts was through the use of democratic decision-making. Pirates often operated as part of a crew, and each crew member was expected to have an equal say in the decisions that affected the group. This was accomplished through the use of a pirate code, or articles of agreement, which outlined the rules and customs that governed life on board a pirate ship. The pirate code specified the rights and responsibilities of each crew member, and provided the means of resolving disputes and enforcing rules. Thanks for this. We'll check this guy out next. Marcus Rediker, huh? Another way in which pirates maintained order and resolved conflicts was through the use of informal justice systems. What is the deal, dude? Pirates often operated outside the reach of the law, so they had to create their own methods for dealing with crime and punishment. This could include the use of informal courts and tribunals where disputes were heard and resolved by a group of elected pirates. In some cases, pirates would also use violence and intimidation to enforce the rules and punish those who violated them. However, it's important to note, pirates were not always ruthless and violent. Many were known for their fairness and sense of justice. What is going on here? The work of economist Peter Leeson has shed light on the complex social systems of pirates. Leeson argued that pirates were able to create effective and efficient institutions that allowed them to resolve conflicts and maintain social order. He's also shown that pirates were able to create a system of incentives and punishments that encouraged cooperation and reduced the likelihood of conflict. In this way, Leeson's work helped to demonstrate pirates were not just ruthless criminals, but also highly organized and socially sophisticated. In conclusion, a whole 3 paragraphs later, pirates were able to resolve conflicts and maintain order in their communities without the use of a formal government or legal system. What the fuck? This made them an example of a stateless society that relied on arbitrary rules and customs to maintain social order. Through the use of democratic decision-making and informal justice systems, pirates were able to create a sophisticated and effective means of resolving conflicts and maintaining order in their communities. Literally, I can't believe this. The work of Peter Leeson has helped to shed light on the complex social systems of pirates and has shown that they were able to create effective institutions and incentives. Jesus Christ. You're kidding me, dude. Is he influential? I don't know about that. He's just a vehicle through which we can make fun of these people, you know? He's got a big TikTok. I'm dying here. This guy's such a dummy. Why would you write that? A whole 5 paragraphs? Here's Marcus Rediker. The vibes are totally fucked. The vibes are totally fucked. It's one of the guys he cited. The vibes are off. This is his TikTok. I figured we've already gone this far. Ah, dude. He's just embarrassing.
Communist gleefully defends genocide.
What, dude? Get a life, you fucking ding-dong. He's just a ding-dong. He doesn't understand anything, but he's fucking so insufferable because all he does... He's just a bitch. He's just a bitch. A true bitch. Creator of FEEEO Online. Jesus. How to think about the economy. What's up, Lennon Smash? Yeah, it's just libertarian. Everyone follow Lennon Smash. Love your face, homie. Uh-oh. How to think about the economy. Uh-oh. How to... A primer. Oh, this is not by them? By... I thought it was going to be by him. It's the same stuff we were looking at earlier. The price mechanism. How to do economic... Like, what is the deal? Here we go. There are laws by which the economy works, and they are immutable. What? That is totally metaphysical. Oh my God. The way the economy works is in a constant state of development. Incredible. The economy is people acting and interacting. It's little or nothing else. This is how you get stupid, you know? You got to be like a big dummy if you're just like, yeah. And you're like taking notes. Oh, yeah, acting and interacting. Okay, I'm an economy understander now. I call you a pedophile because you work for the Mises Institute, an organization which advocates for free markets in children. Yeah. It's pretty bad. It's pretty bad, dude. This guy's a literal Nazi. Oh my God, dude. What a weirdo. He totally wants to ignore the fact that it says they want a purely free society with a flourishing free market in children. Like, that is off the charts. That is off the fucking charts. If you okay, so he's something. Do you ever feel embarrassed about the fact that even being funded by billionaire pedos and part of an entire team shitting out awful videos, the best you can manage is 500 fucking views? No wonder you're so envious. Unindoctrination? Is this what he works on? What is the deal? I don't even know what we're looking at. The guy who originated the claim that Stalin raped a 13-year-old, Simon Montefiore, is literally in Epstein's black book. Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ. He's saying there's primary sources, but of course he never coughs up. He's such a bitch, dude. He's truly a bitch. He's such a loser bitch, man. He'd simply believe anything. Dude, his cringe energy is off the charts. I don't think I've seen... I think that's why I'm like so stunned right now. Because this guy is so cringe. Oh my God, it's wild. It originated from... I can't say that name. This guy's such a loser. How much does he pay for blue check marks every month? Dude, he's got Rothbardian in his name. Oh my God, dude. What is it with Tennessee?
There are misconceptions about libertarians far prevalent.
Don't tread on. It says don't, you guys. You had to turn the volume down. Don't tread on me. The Gulag Archipelago guy? Oh my God, man.
Myth 1. Libertarians believe individuals exist in isolation, acting without influencing each other. This is untrue.
All your videos say otherwise.
No step on snake, you guys. We're gonna have a veritable child market.
The exception may be Merrick Sturmer. Libertarians are methodological. No, you use mysticism. They use metaphysics and idealism. You guys are fucking dummies. You are not science understanders. Alright, I'm not reading this bullshit. Yeah, we watched the videos. God, this is just pure dummy shit. Yo, they should just read Marx. They want to act like they have a material understanding of the world, but they don't. It's embarrassing for them. All right. I'm going to take a little short break. So I can, fucking stretch my legs. Don't go anywhere. Stick around. We'll continue the stream in a couple minutes. I didn't even look at the news today, did I? We've been talking about this for about 4 or 5 hours. But we learn a lot. And I know we use that Praxben as sort of a vehicle to learn about things, but I thought that was beneficial. I thought that was pretty beneficial. Learned about the Mises Institute, libertarians, the whole split in the libertarians, how Mises and his underlings are fascists in libertarian garb. Rothbard, Hoppe, Praxben, praxeology. We learned a lot about these things. Cool. Glad to hear that. That's a good one. God, that's just real embarrassing shit for them. Monarchists. They're monarchists. Jesus Christ.
Leland B. Yeager.
Oh my God, dude. The vibes are so fucked with these people. This googly eye motherfucker. Alright. Like I said, I'm going to take a short break. Don't go anywhere. Love your face. Alright. Support my content, please. Please support. Please, please, please.